Live broadcast of Naruto begins with a movie The Death of Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 26. However, the long-standing cognition is not so easy to break. Even though Naruto's tone is very firm, SYNOPSIS still has a self-destructive attitude, and based on the witch's predictive ability, she feels that one of her and Naruto must die. Naruto also responded simply and directly, repeatedly emphasizing that he would change this result. The two people's quarrel like children made the people watching the sky curtain very speechless. Here we go again. I just saw Naruto's handsome appearance, but now it feels like my own illusion. I feel the same. By the way, does the escort mission also include psychological counseling? If not, do I need to pay more later? This statement is too disappointing, but the money still needs to be paid. We can't destroy the market. Seeing that the quarrel was endless, Naruto directly approached with a straight ball, looked into SYNOPSIS' eyes and said, "Let me protect you." She was startled by Naruto's face so close, and then SYNOPSIS had she turned around shyly, and her tone was no longer absolute, and she whispered back, "That kind of thing is impossible. Trust me." Naruto responded gently, and SYNOPSIS, who was a little upset, turned around and retorted loudly, "Trust what?" What came into view was Naruto's back with his hand raised and thumbs up. "We have a battle plan, and it will definitely succeed this time." Perhaps because Naruto's eyes were too dazzling at this time, SYNOPSIS did not continue to refute Naruto. "Then, let's go." Naruto squatted down and motioned SYNOPSIS to come up. After waiting for a while, SYNOPSIS stood up and walked behind Naruto, put her arms around his neck, and whispered in his ear, "Naruto, make a promise with me." I'll make a promise with you on my ninja way. I feel like I can do it again. It's great to have someone who protects me wholeheartedly, and he's a handsome boy. I'm looking forward to it. I'm so nervous. I'm so excited. Can Naruto succeed? Although I can't completely agree with Naruto's words, I still hope he can succeed. Naruto also stood up excitedly and pointed at the sky. "My ninja way is to say what I mean and do what I say. I will definitely change it for you, even fate." "Fate?" Neji murmured as he looked at Naruto. In front of the sealed shrine, thousands of activated terracotta warriors were patrolling everywhere. Naruto chose to break through head-on and created a large number of shadow clones, each holding a Rasengan and fearlessly rushing towards the terracotta warriors. While the shadow clones attracted the enemy's attention, Naruto and the other two shadow clones took SYNOPSIS and rushed straight to the sealed shrine. After successfully bringing the people to the destination, Naruto put SYNOPSIS down and prepared to turn around to stop the enemy. Naruto. Looking at Naruto, SYNOPSIS' face was still worried. But Naruto didn't have time to comfort her at this time, and hurriedly urged, go quickly." Puff. The spear pierced Naruto's heart. The sudden scene reminded SYNOPSIS of the prophecy in an instant. Fortunately, Naruto, who was hit, turned into a cloud of smoke in the next second. It turned out to be just a shadow clone. Fuck. I got scared. Don't panic, it's different from what was predicted. Don't panic, the decisive battle is about to begin, which means that the time for Naruto's predicted death is not far away. How will it develop? Will both survive or will one person have to die? Looking at the dense barrage, Sakura said strangely, "There are more and more people who support Naruto and those who are wavering." Obviously, everyone thought Naruto was dead at the beginning. Kakashi sighed and said with emotion, "It means that many people recognize Naruto, so everyone thinks that Naruto can change the prediction of the Miko." Recognition. Hearing this word, Naruto felt a little strange, his heart beat fast, and his whole body was numb. A large group of Naruto rushed out and blocked between the terracotta warriors and SYNOPSIS. Seeing her sitting on the ground in a daze, they hurriedly urged her again, "What are you doing? Go." SYNOPSIS breathed a sigh of relief, then put on its sundear expression and said to Naruto, "What a mess, which one is the real body, tell me. Now is not the time to talk about this, think about the situation, idiot." SYNOPSIS also knew that the situation was not right, and snorted and entered the sealed shrine. Damn, I finally got in. These two people were so anxious. It's a simple and brainless tactic, but with Naruto's many scary chakra is terrifying. By the way, have you noticed one thing? Where are the enemy troops from various countries? Yes. The land of demons is much closer to the land of wind and the land of earth. If the demons really appear, there will definitely be a battle. As a result, only the scenes of Konoha have appeared so far, and you still say this is not an advertisement. Here we go again, can we not bring up this topic again? This kind of speculation is too outrageous. Not that guy, not that guy, not yet, not yet. As she gradually went deeper into the sealed shrine, Shion kept denying her foresight in her heart, but suddenly a strong palpitation came to her heart, and the scene of Naruto's death appeared in her mind again. She struggled to get up and entered the volcanic rock cave where the body of the demon was sealed. Looking at the familiar scene in front of her, Shion knew that this was the place where the prophecy would finally come true. Naruto died here. Yanquin, who was already waiting here, looked at Shion who came in, while controlling several terracotta warriors to approach Shion. While introducing himself, Shion was forced to the end of the road, with boiling magma behind her. She screamed in panic, and then the bell on her collar emitted a purple beam of light that cut the approaching terracotta warriors into pieces. Looking at Shion's surprised expression, Yanquin said, "What are you surprised about? Don't you understand your own power? It's really surprising. What have you learned so far? The goal is right in front of her." Shion stood up and cheered up. "For today, I have been working day after day." Wang Quan interrupted Shion's speech and continued her words, "Practicing the sealing technique? Ha, then try to seal me up as soon as possible. Can you do it?" Shion's ears echoed Naruto's declaration to protect herself. She mustered up the courage to hold the bell on her collar and walk towards Wang Quan barefoot. "You are telling the truth, Naruto? It feels like there is a conspiracy, this Wang Quan." "It shouldn't be. You see, Shion easily destroyed those terracotta warriors, and the power of restraint that can seal the monsters is also relied on. It's obvious that there is a problem, otherwise when she saw the person who can seal herself, she would definitely eliminate the person as soon as possible. How can she have the leisure to chat with others there? More than a decade of hard work is for this moment in the sky." Xian clenched her hands nervously and paid no attention to the discussion about Yanquin in the barrage. Chapter 27. The battle outside the ancestral hall is still going on. Although it is difficult, Naruto has indeed stopped all the enemies. Looking at the approaching Shion, Wang Quan said fearlessly, "Let me tell you, I can't kill you, but you don't have the power to make me disappear. If you want to ask why, it's because we are originally one." "What do you mean? How can I not kill you? Wasn't it you who sent a man to kill the Miko before?" "Maybe he said that he can't kill her by himself, but can kill her by someone else's hand. But the Miko didn't come to kill him. The plan from beginning to end was to seal the monsters. Where did he get the confidence to be so calm? It turns out that the Miko and the monsters were originally one. This is why the Miko's power can restrain the monsters. I'll tell you a story about a small country. How can the Shrine Maiden say that only she can seal the monsters? Are you kidding me? Are you trying to deceive me with lies?" Shion naturally didn't believe Wang Quan's inexplicable words, and walked forward to start the seal. "I will seal you now." Wang Quan just watched Shion's actions. "The so-called seal is to combine you and me into one. Your mother Maitreya is like this." "That's right, Maitreya, your mother, is now in my body. The power of the Shrine Maiden is too strong. In order not to misuse that power, she divided her heart and mind into two halves, guarding against each other's survival. I don't know when, it became the two names of the Shrine Maiden and the monsters. Light, dark, words like good and evil cannot be used to summarize us. The power of the Miko is too strong? How strong? Is it stronger than Hashirama Senju and Uchiha Madara? This is really not credible coming from a loser. Can you imagine Hashirama Senju or Uchiha Madara being sealed by someone? But Wang Quan is talking about the power of the Miko before it splits. The monsters after the split can control the immortal ghost army, so what about before the split? This assumption is meaningless. What I am more curious about now is what Wang Quan said about the seal and the Miko's integration. What does it mean? Could it be that this sealing ceremony requires the caster to be the price? Then Shion is still dead. Hearing this description, the third generation of Fire Ying and Minato Namikaze both had a sense of deja vu. Shiki Fujin. Shion looked at the sky with a pale face, because Wang Quan said a lot of things she didn't know, but she still insisted on not believing it. No. He must be lying. Although Wang Quan's words were quite shocking, Shin couldn't just give up at this point. After calming down, Shin raised her right hand and began the sealing ceremony. Launch. Formation. Release. A purple beam of light rose from the ground and enveloped Shin, but even at this point, Wang Quan still had a fearless expression. Boundary. Shin recited the sealing spell, combined with a series of hand seals, and a flat door rose from the altar. Seeing the sealing door slowly rising, Shin carried out the final ceremony in an orderly manner, but Wang Quan suddenly rushed to Shin's side, and the barrier surrounding the altar did not play any intercepting role. Fuck, I got scared. Oh my god, how come Wang Quan looks like he's possessed by a ghost? He's possessed, but not by a ghost, but a monster. It seems like there's something wrong with the entire sealing ritual. Wang Quan seems to know everything and is guiding Shin. Could it be that he's removing the seal on the monster's body? The more I look at it, the more it looks like it. It can't be that outrageous. Shin looked at Ashio helplessly, who was looking at the sky with a frown, and then whispered, "Let's watch it first, Master Shin. We can ask the instructor at the temple what's going on later." Outside the ancestral hall, Naruto's power continued to be consumed, but in order for Shin to be able to concentrate on the sealing work, he always kept a firm guard on the defense line. Yellow Spring, with veins all over his body, lay unconscious on the ground. Only the hoarse voice of the ghost came out of his body. "Ha ha 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 ha, you are really impatient, witch. You have to wait until this guy is defeated before you can open the barrier." In order to enter here, the frightened Shin fell to the ground, and then she seemed to think of something, and hurriedly got up and rushed to the sealed door beside her. But it was too late. The ghost suddenly rushed out of Wang Quan's body, and the strong wind pressure blew his body out of the barrier, and Shin's whole body he was also blown away and hit the barrier, receiving a strong electric shock. Looking at Shin lying on the ground unable to move, the soul of the ghost hovered above the sealed door. "Once the barrier is opened, we can't get out until we occupy the other side, and what determines this is each other's chakra. Wang Quan is just lying there. So Wang Quan is just a pawn of the ghost. He is so ambitious. I thought he had some way to counter the ghost, but this is the result. Emotions rule the world. The idea of building a 1,000-year empire in the world is the idea of the monster Wulian. Wang Quan is actually a container of souls. If he is useless, just throw him away, right? Does Wang Quan know about this situation? If he knows, what is he trying to do? If he doesn't know, he is too stupid. Probably like a fanatical believer, who doesn't mind sacrificing his life. Shin was a little frustrated. How could it be? It turned out to be a ceremony to remove the seal. What have I done? What is the meaning of everything I insist on? Sakura showed a worried look. So far, it has been developing in the direction of the picture when the sky screen was played at the beginning. The prediction will not come true. Naruto didn't understand the specific situation at all. He only knew that there was a problem with Shin's seal, but he still vowed, "It's okay, Sakura, I will definitely not let the prophecy come true, and I will also save that stupid Miko." So what should we do now? The Miko has no choice. Should we let that Tsuchikage take action? This shouldn't be that serious. Well, if nothing else, at least Konoha must have a way. They can even seal the Nine Tails, so this Wulian can't be more powerful than the Nine Tails. By the way, is Wulian's brain not normal? Unsealing requires the power of the Miko, so why did it ask someone to kill Shin before? Probably for safety reasons. Although Shin has the technique to unseal, she also has the ability to sacrifice herself to seal Wulian. At worst, she can kill Shin and find a way to unseal it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. Outside the ancestral hall, Naruto's offensive began to weaken. Cold sweat ran down his face. Seeing that the number of enemies had not decreased at all, he not only did not lose his fighting spirit, but instead became more determined to fight. Fortunately, the reinforcements that had been offline for a long time finally arrived. A familiar voice came along with the roar of thunder. "Reikiri." Naruto breathed a sigh of relief and confidently handed over the task of blocking the enemy to his companions. He then followed the direction that Shin left and entered the ancestral hall. Finally they're here. The attacking troops have become the supporting troops. You're so slow. Naruto is the only one holding the line. By the way, where are Niji and the others? Did they come after defeating the enemy? Not so fast. Even if the opponent is not strong, physical strength and chakra will be consumed to some extent. We're getting closer and closer to prediction. Inside the barrier, the door that sealed Wu Liang's body has been opened. Wu Liang successfully merged his body and soul into one. Ha, come back, my body. I really want to say thank you. I can't unlock the seal of the shrine without you. After hearing the words of Wu Liang and realizing what she had done, Shin immediately showed a collapsed expression. What on earth have I done, and what on earth have I done so far? That's right, this is too outrageous. Treating the unsealing technique as the sealing technique, what are the people who teach the shrine maiden doing? Could it be that there are Wu Liang subordinates in the demon country, just like people like Wang Quan who are mentally abnormal? Demon country, why don't you quickly check what's going on with the people who teach the shrine maiden? Shiho also realized that something was wrong, and quickly sent people to temporarily capture the few people who taught the shrine maiden ninjutsu and wait for investigation. The power of the barrier disappeared after Wu Liang's seal was lifted. After Naruto entered the shrine, he only saw Shin, so he happily shouted, Shin, did it succeed? Did you seal that guy firmly? Naruto. Shin turned her head to look at Naruto, tears streaming down her face. Noticing her condition, Naruto didn't think much about it and said in a relaxed tone, what's wrong? Is that so? You must be very tired. However, the more Naruto's attitude was like this, the more Shin blamed herself. For you, I am not worth being protected at all. Shin. Naruto also realized that something was wrong at this time, but the sudden vibration made him stop moving forward. The tentacles wrapped with black chakra drilled through the rock layer and surrounded Shin. Shin, who was kneeling on the ground, did not resist or struggle at all, letting the rock layer under her body shatter, and fell directly into the body of the demon that exuded a sinister aura. Shin. Naruto roared and rushed up. The final battle is coming. The Wu Liang swallowed Shin like this. Isn't she afraid that she will seal it at all costs? This matter has advantages and disadvantages. If the power of the Miko can be taken back, the Wu Liang will be more confident in conquering the world. How can the sealing power of the Miko be stimulated? Does Shin, who has been taught strong knowledge, still have the ability to seal the Wu Liang? Are you kidding me? Is it really okay to put the key to saving the world in such an unreliable country? Inside the Wu Liang, Shin shed tears and her body gradually sank. The bell on the collar emitted a burst of light that enveloped Shin's body, allowing her to survive in the body of the demon without being swallowed directly. The demon was not annoyed by this. Ha, don't cry, it's because of this light that I can't swallow you, but this is good, it will make you see things you don't want to see, the end of this world, ha. The power of the witch and the demon is too much of a mutual restraint. Are they really one and the same? Have you never heard of yin-yang escape? The more extreme the restraint, the more powerful the force can be. But it also depends on whether the person who possesses this power can bear it. In the Pure Land, Uchiha raised his eyebrows after seeing this barrage. Interesting, it is similar to the message on the Uchiha ancestral stone tablet. Could this ghost have something to do with the six-path sage? Senju Hashirama also remembered what Uchiha Madara had said to him, wondering if the ghost had any connection with Madara. Shin, Naruto's shout came in, and Shin, who had been planning to give up, came back to her senses a little. I'm still alive, and then Naruto will, if this goes on, Naruto will, realizing that as long as she was alive, Naruto could not escape the fate of death. Shin clenched the bell. Perhaps sensing Shin's emotions, the bell in the palm of her hand suddenly emitted a dazzling light, and then some scenes that were not sure whether they were hallucinations or memories appeared in Shin's mind. Why don't you understand? With the power of the monsters and your technique, ruling the world will be a piece of cake. The winged and glowing human figure loudly questioned the golden glowing woman opposite. The golden glowing woman obviously could not agree with the other party's idea and directly refused. How stupid, why don't you believe in humans? Unexpectedly, after hearing the other party's answer, the white light man suddenly became very angry. People believe in humans, do you really think so, Miroku? Mother. Shin opened her eyes wide. The familiar name gave the glowing figure a concrete image. Shin saw her childhood self leaning on her mother's thighs and acting like a spoiled child. Then there were some scenes that were not in her memory. Her mother Miroku ordered her followers not to teach her any ninjutsu, although this order was not executed later. The previous generation of the shrine maiden ordered not to teach anything, but not only was the order not executed, but the seal unsealing technique was also passed down as the seal technique. Really? Both sides are outrageous, aren't they? If it really goes according to her idea, then the ghost will have no resistance as soon as it is born, at least in her eyes. The ghost more than 10 years ago was actually still in human form. Although it has wings, it is too different from the tentacle monster now. Shin didn't pay too much attention to the complaints on the barrage. She looked at the bell in her palm and said with some doubts, "Does it retain my mother's memory, or?" Chapter 29. You must always carry this from now on. Miroku solemnly handed a bell to Shin. The young girl didn't know what it meant, and just thought it was a beautiful amulet. Miroku's exhortation echoed in Shin's heart. It was not difficult to see from the fact that he asked her to stay calm no matter what happened, even if her mother disappeared, that the previous generation of priestess Miroku had long been aware of her own death. Then, it was the most profound scene in Shin's childhood memory. Mother. The young Shin was protected by Miroku behind her, and in front of the mother and daughter was the monster Wulian emitting ominous chakra. Do you still want to stop me now, Miroku? Forget it, I don't need to rely on your power anymore, but do you know what this means? Wulian said to Miroku viciously. Miroku sensed the killing intention of the ghost, and ignored his own safety. Instead, he was concerned about the safety of Shin. Shin, where's the bell? But Shin did not bring the bell with her. Seeing this, the ghost did not hesitate. A purple flame fell and directly engulfed Shin's small body. However, the ghost's attack did not work. Miroku stood in front of Shin and blocked all the attacks of the ghost. The ghost also realized the true power of the witch, so that's it. If you bet your life, you can surpass. Shin's voice sounded, and the true power of the witch was used by her. The scene returned to the time when Naruto confidently said that he had a battle plan. The only difference was that Shin was now glowing with a faint light. She first looked at the surroundings with some confusion, then looked at Naruto with a relieved expression on her face, and took off the bell on her collar. Destiny cannot be changed. What? How many times do you have to say the same thing? Naruto's response was also different from before. Shin leaned on Naruto's back and said softly, Naruto, you must live. What does this mean? Has Shin returned to the past? Is this Shin's imagination, or has her consciousness really returned to the past? It can't be the power of time. Although there are many restrictions and you have to gamble your life, it can reverse the situation at a critical moment. No. How can there be such an outrageous ability to change the past? If it's true, it will be a mess. In the Akatsuki base, Obito stared at the sky with wide eyes. If we change the past, does that mean that Rin doesn't have to? Hey. Noticing his change in mood, Black Zetsu interrupted him and said, don't forget what Madara said. Even if Nahara Rin is resurrected, she might die somewhere if the ninja world is not changed. Obito calmed down after Black Zetsu's deception. You're right. Besides, that kind of power with many restrictions can't realize my idea. In the Pure Land, Uchiha Madara thought of his younger brother Uchiha Izuna after seeing the ability to change the past, but he suppressed his emotions as soon as they fluctuated a little, and watched Naruto savior drama on the sky with cold eyes. Sakura noticed Shin's attitude on the sky. She is already planning to sacrifice herself to save Naruto. Naruto pursed his lips and stared at the sky. Time went back to the decisive battle with the monsters. The sky showed the scene of Naruto fighting with the monsters at the beginning, but this time the result was different. Naruto, you must live. Shin's voice rang in Naruto's ears, and the tentacles that were supposed to pierce his chest were bounced off by a layer of purple light shield, and the subsequent attacks of the Wulian were also completely blocked. However, this power also has its limits, and the power of the light shield was quickly exhausted, and Naruto was knocked to the ground by the Wulian's tentacles. Although he didn't know what happened, Naruto could still feel the resolute tone in Shin's words. He lay on the ground and shouted to Shin in the body of the demon, What did you do? Really changed the past, my god. In the past, the bell was given to Naruto, and then the predicted result was changed. That means it is the Mako herself who bears the fate of death. No. Naruto, think of a way. Didn't you make an agreement with Shin? Ha ha ha, ridiculous. Uzumaki Naruto, this kid said so many big words, but in the end, he still has to rely on the sacrifice of the Mako to change his own death fate. No, there must be another way. That force you have seen it once before. Is it okay to give the amulet of the Shrine Maiden to someone else? The ghost also knew what Shin had done, but this approach was just what it wanted. Okay, if that is your wish, I will help you realize it, and then watch carefully. After I merge with me, the people you want to protect and at the same time, the end of this world. After entrusting the bell to others, Shin had completely given up. She said to herself with tears in her eyes, this is good. If we had understood it from the beginning, the people in the village would not have lost their lives, right? Mother. Shin looked up at a familiar light in the sky. It was the remaining power of Moroku left in the body of the ghost. Moroku's voice came out from it, Shin, I thought you could live a peaceful life every day. Then there were some scenes that did not exist in Shin's memory. Moroku thought Shin was too young to completely control the power of the Miko, so he injected all her power into the bell. As for the ability of the Miko that was activated due to death, the villagers used their lives to stop it. In order to suppress the power of the Miko, you just let the villagers sacrifice themselves. I feel that this Moroku is not a good person. Didn't you look at the previous ones? Those who died were willing to sacrifice for the Miko, okay. If they didn't want to, then Shin would have died long ago, okay. To be honest, such a small price can be exchanged for the power to change the past and predict the future. There should be a lot of villages willing to bear it for the ghost country. That's a bit too much to take for granted. Not to mention that Shin's ability is so limited, just ask how many ordinary villagers are willing to die to protect the Shrine Maiden, so Shin's power is all in that bell? It doesn't seem that simple. It's probably something like a ninja tool passed down by the Shrine Maiden. Did Shin see her mother's past experience in it? Chapter 30. Mother. In the body of the ghost, Shin approached the light. Relying on the connection of chakra, she saw her mother Moroku who had died for many years again. Shin, Mother. Mother did not protect you well, let alone trust you. Do you hate Mother? The mother and daughter hugged each other sadly. Shin said to Moroku with tears in her eyes, no, Mother, Shin loves Mother the most. After understanding all the causes and consequences, the power that had been suppressed in Shin's body awakened. The dazzling light shone, and the ghost felt that his power was severely restrained. What is this? I understand, this power has reached the time to use it. Shin released the power in her body, and red patterns appeared on her face and body. Looking at her palm, Shin thought silently, there have been so many priestesses all the time, and now I can still hear their young voices. Really, it has been a long time. So that's how it is. That bell sealed your power. The demon began to cry out in pain. The power of the Miko was extremely harmful to him. Shin no longer hesitated and whispered, let's stop here, Naruto, did you hear me? From now on, you will continue to live in the future world. This is my destiny. Naruto's figure appeared in Shin's mind. The serious expression on his face when he made a promise with her made her unforgettable for a long time. You big liar. Shin choked and said, and her power exploded further. Amid the screams of Wulian, Shin stopped crying and prepared to die with Wulian. Let's disappear together. The familiar sound of bells came into her ears. Shin was stunned for a moment. The next second, Naruto's angry shout rang directly beside her, you idiot witch. It turned out that a series of shadow clones rushed directly into Wulian's body and pulled Shin out. Well done, Naruto. Well done. You did a good job. Damn, I got goosebumps. Oh. I'm burning. Damn it. My heart actually got hot in an instant, this boastful brat. Lee and Kai jumped onto the table excitedly, this is youth. Sasuke and Neji snorted at the same time, but the smiles at the corners of their mouths still revealed their mood at the moment. Sakura patted Naruto's shoulders repeatedly, blushing and saying, that's it. Naruto. Kakashi narrowed his eyes slightly, smiled and shook his head. Naruto calmly folded his hands, with a proud face, well done. This uncle. In the temple of the kingdom of demons, Shin covered her mouth with tears, watching Naruto who rescued her from the body of the demon, and the joy in her eyes could not be suppressed. In the pure land of Ninja Realm, people around the world who were familiar with Naruto smiled at the same time, watching him on the sky, turning the tide and breaking his fate. "Open your eyes and take a breath," Naruto said loudly in Shin's ear, then glared at her. "Can you see it? Can you hear it? What are you saying in your heart? Do you want to die like this? No, you want to disappear, right?" Naruto asked in succession. "But, I can't hear it." Shin, say it out loud with your mouth. The strong emotion coming from Naruto made Shin's dead heart come alive again. Don't. Finally, Shin recovered her emotions and a series of questions from Naruto. Seeing this, Naruto smiled happily and picked up Shin in a princess hug and flew into the air. The scene of Kakashi using Raikiri outside the ancestral hall flashed by. The support team only has shots of Kakashi. Hoha, Kakashi only has one line from beginning to end, Raikiri. Who wants to see you? Hurry up and switch the screen back to Naruto. Now is the climax of the story, the moment when Uzumaki Naruto practices the ninja way. Movie. It's a movie. This is a movie commercial shot by Konoha. Ha, it feels like the whole ninja world is getting restless, and the street I'm on suddenly cheered. Me too, and my friends too. I don't want to lose anyone anymore. Naruto held Shin in one hand and placed his other hand against her palm. Shin's bell floated between the two palms, and a ball of chakra quickly took shape. Other members of the support team also showed up. Shikamaru used the shadow imitation technique to control a large number of terracotta warriors. Temari from the Sand Village waved a huge iron fan and smashed them all to pieces. Here they are. Newbies. Do you know anyone? One is a Konoha guy I don't know, and the other is, from the Sand Village. The land of demons is very close to the land of wind, so it's normal for Sand Ninja to appear in the attacking force. No. Although Konoha and Sand Village are allies, when did they become so close that they can fight together? It's not possible now, but it won't be possible in the future. Don't forget that what's being played is a story from the future. Temari-sama. Temari-sama appeared on the sky screen. And she wiped out a large number of enemies in one go. Temari-sama is so amazing. There's character information. I don't know the Konoha guy, but the female Sand Ninja is the daughter of the 4th Kazekage. Oh. A big shot has appeared. Is he good at using wind style? Temari was shocked by her sudden appearance, but immediately put on a nonchalant expression, and looked at the sky screen with a more serious expression. On the one hand, the 4th Kazekage Raza was happy that his daughter appeared on the sky screen, because it was undoubtedly a free advertisement for the Sand Village, which was in a very tight financial situation, but he was also worried that a large amount of information would be leaked like Konoha. So he could only arrange to keep the information of his children more confidential with a feeling of surprise and joy. Aino nudged Shikamaru with her elbow and said excitedly, "Look, Shikamaru. You are on the stage too." Shikamaru, who was annoyed by the trouble, raised his head with a look of despair on his face. It's so troublesome. As soon as he finished speaking, the Anbu of the Hokage appeared and invited him to the meeting room together. Don't force yourself to accept the unreasonable fate. Naruto glanced at Shin, and then injected more power into the Rasengan in his hand. More, release all your feelings. An unparalleled sense of security and the feeling of having your fate shattered filled Shin's heart. With the efforts of the two, a giant Rasengan was raised high by Naruto. Wangliang felt something was wrong and struggled to get out of the rock formation to make a last stand, but it was a pity that he was one step too late. So slow. Naruto glanced down, holding Shin and falling straight down, and the Rasengan in his hand hit the Wulian without any deviation. Take it, this is the Super Chakra Rasengan of Shin and me. We agreed, I will change your fate. With Naruto's words, Wulian was destroyed by the attacks of the two people while screaming. Shin showed a relieved expression and gently leaned on Naruto's shoulder. Mother. I think it's better to call Naruto's name here. Ha. Yes, this development is really great. Shin looked at the destroyed Wulian with tears in her eyes, and gently recited Naruto's name according to the requirements of the barrage, Uzumaki Naruto. Chapter 31. The powerful force detonated the volcano under the shrine, and the ground shook violently. Everyone in the support team turned to look at the shrine, only to see that the magma had penetrated the mountain and erupted. The terracotta warriors controlled by the power of the demons all stopped. Although the air was filled with smoke and dust due to the volcanic eruption, The crisis that threatened the whole world was resolved, and everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The sky gradually brightened, and everyone in the support team looked at the direction of the shrine from a distance. It's great that it ended peacefully like this. Kakashi folded his hands in front of his chest and exhaled. A new volcano has been formed. Xiaoli made an emotional assessment, but those who knew Naruto knew who caused this situation. At least Shikamaru said helplessly, really? It's all because it was handed over to that guy. Temari also made a summary. From her attitude, it is not difficult to see that she has a very familiar relationship with Konoha's group. This sand ninja is quite familiar with these people in Konoha. What happened in the future? I can see the joint forces of Konoha and Sand Village. Hey. Why do you assume that the sky screen is showing the future? Otherwise, are you also thinking that this is a movie or an advertisement? Before we figure out what the sky screen is, it's better to assume that the sky screen is showing the future. Anyway, just remember the information revealed by the sky screen. I will definitely confirm the authenticity of this information later. Kankuro rushed to Temari and asked curiously, you are so familiar with the people of Konoha in the future. Temari glanced at him unhappily, you also said it was the future, how can I know it now? And don't forget what we originally planned to do in this year's Chunin exam. Yes. Since the Konoha collapse plan has been prepared, what's the matter with the close-knit performance on the sky screen? Is there something wrong with the plan? The two people who knew the next plan of Tsunagakure could not help but feel a little uneasy. Naruto came to the crowd holding Shion. Put me down. Shion said softly. Naruto put him down and looked into the distance with her. In this way, the work of the Miko is over. No, I will continue to be a Miko in the future. Shion denied Naruto's words, and then explained, when I was in that guy's body, I found that it was the evil hearts of humans that gave birth to the monsters in this world. Who dares to say that there won't be a second or third monster? Especially some Jinan, be careful. Naruto didn't understand this ridicule. Shion stopped joking, and said seriously, I won't say that fate is a curse anymore. Miko is my mission, right, Naruto? The people of the support team also came behind the two and listened to Shion continue, also, this power must be passed on to the next generation of Miko. How about Naruto, can you lend me the power? Shion's almost explicit words made the people behind him react, at least Xiaoli and Kakashi must have understood the meaning of this sentence. However, Naruto, who had switched to pure love mode at critical moments, didn't understand what Shion said at all. He raised his thumbs carelessly, I'll lend it to you no matter how much you want. Hey, everyone, maybe you thought it wrong. The Miko shouldn't mean that. No. It's what you think. Miko, you're so bold. Naruto is so stupid. He didn't understand the girl's hint at all. No, it was a clear hint. Shion looked at Ashio who came in, her eyes turned into mosquito circles, and she blushed and explained, No. It's not like that. Ashio smiled softly, lowered her head and said, if Lady Shion likes him, I will immediately send someone to Konoha to propose marriage, but it may take a few more years to get married. He is only 12 years old this year, right? It's not like that. Ashio. Naruto didn't know that someone in the faraway demon country had already set his sights on him. He tilted his head and looked at the others around him and asked, What are you talking about? Isn't it just lending power to the Miko? Sakura couldn't bear to look at it and turned her head away. Naruto, you are really super idiot. Sasuke continued Sakura's words. Kakashi also expressed his feelings. And the people in Team 3 stared at Naruto's expression, wanting to see if he was pretending. Meeting only Kai was still immersed in his youth in the room. Hinode looked at the sky curtain with a blushing face, which made Yuhi beside her worry that she might faint. Kushina in the Pure Land grinned and nodded with satisfaction at Shion, who spoke bravely on the sky curtain. Namake's Minato shook his head and refocused his energy on studying the sky curtain. So Wulian is not that great. It can be solved by a Jinan and a Miko from a small country. Fuck Jinan and Miko from a small country. I feel like even a Jonin would be killed by Naruto's human wave tactics. I'm a little curious about how strong a complete Wulian is, but it's better to destroy something that wants to destroy the world. There are a lot of things to do next. I wonder how Konoha will react. What other reactions can there be? It must be the kind that they are too busy to receive clients. Oh, and Tsunagakure may also have such changes. I'm a little envious of Konoha at this time, but there should be spies from various countries who will go undercover to infiltrate Konoha to gather intelligence. Anyway, Konoha can't expect to live in peace during this period. Various subsequent discussions passed by the sky one by one until the sky dimmed again, and a huge end word replaced the dense barrage. The movie viewing, which lasted for more than an hour, ended. Just as everyone was preparing to gather intelligence on this matter and discuss it with the village's top leaders, some words appeared on the sky curtain again. Start extracting the next issue's keywords. Keywords extracted based on this issue's speeches, randomly selected. Confirm. Next issue's keywords. Partners. The words disappeared, and the sky curtain completely darkened, returning to the state when it first appeared. The story of the future is over. The appearance of the sky curtain will lead the future of the ninja world in what direction, and no one in it knows. Chapter 32. 7 days have passed since the first story of Shinmu was broadcast. The research on Shinmu has never stopped for a second. Unfortunately, just like at the beginning, no results were obtained from it. The situation of Konoha that was exposed was similar to what was expected. The flow of people reached the highest peak since the establishment of the village. The Anbu and the ninjas guarding the village worked overtime and captured and intercepted many undercover spies who had infiltrated. The same situation was also true for the task reception desk. Not only did they have to screen the information of the clients and determine how many of them were serious commissions, but they also had to handle a large number of tasks designated for the 7th and 3rd teams. For safety reasons, the 3rd generation Hokage ordered that some tasks that were too far away from the village should not be given to them for the time being, at least until the heat subsided before the restrictions could be lifted. After working non-stop for several days, even Naruto was so tired that he didn't want to talk, and they finally had a day to rest. Taking this opportunity, Kakashi specially contacted the 2 classes of their class and the 3rd class to organize a social gathering. In the Konoha specialty barbecue restaurant, Barbecue Q, the 4 teams of the social gathering got along well. Although the 3 members of the 3rd team were 1 year older than the others, except for Niji who was a bit aloof and didn't talk much, the overall atmosphere was still very harmonious. Naruto and Inuzuka Kiba who were fighting with each other should be excluded. The 4 teams guiding Jonin opened a small table separately, drinking and discussing the recent situation. Asuma poured wine into the glasses of several people, and then said to Kakashi and Kai, "I heard that Team 7 and Team 3 have been quite active recently." The old man said that the tasks that you were specifically asked to carry out are almost filling up the commission room. Kakashi sighed with a tired face. Although they are all D-level tasks, there are too many of them. The last few days are all full, and they may continue for a long time. Kai ate the barbecue in big mouthfuls, picked up the wine glass and drank it all, then patted Kakashi on the shoulder and laughed. "Kakashi, as my eternal opponent, how can you show such an expression? No matter what time, you must protect 100% enthusiasm. This is youth." Ignoring Kai's usual youthful speech, Hong asked curiously, "What about the demon country? There should be many people in the ninja world who are interested in the predictive ability of the Miko." Asuma lit a cigarette and took a puff, and replied calmly, "I heard that there is a similar reward on the black market. The arrangement for this situation is that Konoha, Sand Village, Rock Village and other 3 parties will temporarily form a joint guard team to protect the Miko." Kumagakure originally wanted to intervene, but was blocked. Kakashi nodded, and then continued, "At the same time, various countries have also launched research on the monsters, and may completely kill them when necessary. Although it mainly depends on the witch's ability to restrain the monsters, Naruto's role is also indispensable. If he goes to the land of demons, he will probably be regarded as a savior." Asuma first glanced at the messy social gathering next door, then looked at Kakashi curiously and asked, "I heard that the land of demons specifically asked Team 7 to join the escort mission." Kakashi nodded, and then said with some relief, "The 3rd generation refused. After all, Naruto is not the one on the sky curtain now. I don't know how many people are watching him. Don't think about leaving the village in a short time." Kai also stopped playing tricks and followed the discussion. "The 3rd generation has people have been sent to find Master Jiraiya and Master Tsune back to the village. What will be done next? Will Naruto and Sakura be accepted as disciples like in the sky curtain? Who knows, maybe." Kakashi shook his head and said, "Now the various response measures in the village are arranged around the possible impact of the sky curtain. If it is for a short period of time, it's okay, but no one can stand this passive response for a long time. Sky curtain, what is this thing? Asuma sighed and looked out the window. The sun was setting, and the dim sunset light was scattered all over the earth, which was very beautiful, except for the huge black curtain hanging high in the sky. Suddenly, there was a commotion outside the street. The people in the store looked in the direction of the sound, and then saw that the sky curtain, which had been silent for 7 days, was lit up again. People who had experienced a previous time quickly reacted to what happened, so the next second, a large number of bullet screens appeared in the sky curtain. Here we go. The sky is finally bright again, ha 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 ha, so excited. Long time no see, who knows who you are? And long time no see. I never thought of talking to you guys on the sky, it's only been a few days. Why are you so weird? Maybe the sky has been so weird these few days, the sky curtain is silent, and you must be itching all over. What kind of excuse is that? Exclamation mark. We lived just fine without the sky curtain before. Since I saw that wonderful story last time, I've been dreaming about when the sky curtain will light up. I agree. I understand. This is the conspiracy of the sky curtain. Controlling humans in this way is really killing people without being seen. Don't blame external things if you have a weak will. Ninjas are getting worse and worse nowadays. Okay, don't talk about these irrelevant topics. What is the content of today's sky curtain? Did some hints appear at the end of last time, keywords and so on? Partners. The keywords of today's content are partners. Speaking of partners, we have to mention our hidden cloud village. Today's sky curtain is probably about our story. Damn, Konoha's recent mission commissions are so good. It's our turn to go to Kumagakure this time. Brother, your true feelings are revealed. Stop talking, the scene is starting to show. In the dim night, the waves hit the reefs and splashed. In a camp on the coast, people wearing long clothes with the characteristics of the wind country are fighting against enemies wearing closed armor. Just as the two sides were fighting fiercely, a team of sand ninjas wearing cloaks and headscarves rushed into the battlefield and attacked the armored men with agility. It's sand ninjas. Is the protagonist of this story sand ninja? This time it's our turn to show our skills. Let you see how powerful the sand ninjas are. Those Konoha brats who appeared last time are nothing big. There's no need to drag people down here. Even if you guys from Sunagakure performed well this time, Naruto and the others also contributed a lot last time. It's not important to be in the limelight, but don't leak too much information about the village. While working overtime, Luosha summoned the elders of the village to a meeting, and looked at this comment with some entanglement. Was it fame or information? But he soon realized that he couldn't affect the sky curtain at all, so there was no need to entangle himself, and he just let it go. As the other party exposed by the sky curtain, Hyde, who was sailing towards the kingdom of wind on the sea, looked at the armored man in the sky curtain and frowned slightly. Chapter 33. The sand ninjas who suddenly charged into the battle did not hold back, and all their attacks fell on the enemy's fatal parts. Unexpectedly, even though they were fatally injured, these armored men acted as if nothing had happened, and they turned around and knocked the attacking sand ninjas away. One of the sand ninja flew backwards and knocked down a wooden watchtower. He quickly stood up and looked at his companions who were struggling around him. He said to himself with a grim expression, "Are these guys immortal?" Extract a keyword, immortal. Another immortal. The ghost army of Wulian claimed to be immortal before. Now they come again. Could it be that these people are also related to Wulian? There should be a difference. The ghost army of Wulian can be restored to its original state after being crushed. These armored men were just stabbed a few times. Just a few stabs. Do you know how many ninjas above died from a small kunai? The armored man holding the round hammer jumped and smashed down on the sand ninja who was observing the situation, but after being hit, the sand ninja turned into a puppet with 6 hands. The puppet's 6 arms suddenly raised, and the barrel-shaped torso opened in the middle and shot out dense chakra lines that entangled the enemy in front of it, dragging it into its body effortlessly. It's the puppetry of Sunagakure. It's a puppeteer. It reminds me of some unpleasant memories. The shape of this puppet is too ugly. The designer's aesthetic level is quite poor. Puppets are not ornamental objects, they are ninja tools. Of course, the more terrifying they are, the better. Young people nowadays only care about whether they look good or not. People have to look good, ninja beasts have to look good, and ninja tools have to look good too. Are they playing ninja as a game of house? The red sand scorpion, who was on his way, looked sideways when someone talked about the puppets he made, but he didn't care much about the comments of these people who didn't understand art. Dieter noticed his action and said, "Brother Scorpion, that puppet is not your work, your aesthetics need to be improved." Scorpion snorted disdainfully and answered with his own artistic view, "There is no point in pursuing appearance. My art is eternal from beginning to end. Of course art must be beautiful enough, and the beauty that blooms in an instant is the most valuable. When it comes to artistic concepts, Dieter never gives in, although the arguments between the two often end in vain." Seeing this, the other armored men around abandoned their opponents and surrounded the puppet. At this time, the ground suddenly shook. One of the sand ninjas seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly called on the other companions to retreat quickly. All the sand ninjas and the puppet quickly left the place, and then the sand gushed out like a fountain to form a sand roll that swept all the armored men into it, and then fell down suddenly to fill the entire beach. Sand for burial. A deep voice echoed on the shore, and the beach that buried the enemy collapsed instantly as if it had been hit by a meteorite, forming a huge pit. The puppet that left fell to the ground, and the puppeteer Kenjiro who controlled it also appeared in the sky. "You are too late, Gaara." Without responding to Kenjiro's words, after destroying the enemy, Gaara stood up and asked, "Who are these guys?" "I don't know. We were conducting a field exercise, and they suddenly appeared from the sea." The soldier who was attacked first reported to Gaara, "Oh my. This red-haired sand village guy is really good. This red-haired guy has too many dark circles under his eyes. How long has he not slept? But he looks pretty cool. He's probably about 12 or 13 years old, but he's much calmer than Naruto and looks very reliable. How is it possible? That monster actually. Oh, does anyone know this guy? Can you tell me some information? Last time, we got some information from Konoha for free. This time, it's Sand Village's turn, right? I'll go and see if there's any relevant information, character information. If it's not important, just announce it on the sky screen. Asshole. Can't you just announce your village's information? Dare you reveal your identity? If your village's information appears later, I will reveal all of it. If you say that, I can't reveal my identity anymore." Temari looked at Kenjiro with a look of astonishment and said, "You actually spoke to Gaara in that tone." Kenjiro was sweating profusely, looking at the picture on the sky screen with an unbelievable face. How is it possible? Gaara was alone on a roof somewhere. Luo looked at the sky with murderous intent on his face. He was not moved at all by his appearance on the sky. Instead, when he saw some comments praising him, his eyes would inadvertently reveal a hint of confusion. Perhaps because they felt that they had no chance of winning, the armored men who remained on the shore jumped back into the sea. Seeing this, the few soldiers closest to the shore quickly jumped onto a small boat and chased after them. Kenjiro hurriedly stopped them. However, the soldiers who were eager for revenge did not obey the order and drove the small boat into the dark sea. All those who remained on the shore stared at the sea, concentrating their attention and being cautious. I don't know why, but I feel a little nostalgic when I see the reaction of this puppet guy. Oops. I feel like I was infected by Naruto. I didn't think there was anything wrong with chasing him just now. This is the caution that a normal ninja should have. Why do you say it as if it is a rare quality? Good boy, don't learn from Naruto, otherwise the grass on your grave will be 3 feet high in 2 years. Naruto, who was inexplicably cool, curled his lips in disdain. He didn't think there was anything wrong with his brave action. It's really disadvantageous in such a dark sea. Kenjiro expressed his opinion, so Gaara calmly ordered, "Fire flares." Temari looked at the sky screen with some toothache. Is that really Gaara? Kenjiro looked puzzled. The me on the sky screen is about the same age as now. It shouldn't be more than a year. Does that mean something will happen within a year to make Gaara change? But how is it possible? That's Gaara. Even though it was shown on the sky screen, Temari still couldn't believe Gaara's change. Many sand ninjas also expressed their opinions in the barrage, but basically they said impossible and must be dreaming, which made other people who didn't know the truth even more curious about Gaara's identity. Chapter 34. 3 flares were fired towards the sea, and with a burst of light, a strange-shaped ship was seen parked in the sea. Before the people on the coast could react, several catapult-like mechanical structures on the flanks of the ship started up, and dozens of shells were fired directly at them. Oops. Gaara, who reacted the fastest, put his hands together, and the sand on the beach flowed quickly under his control to form a long wall on the shore. Unfortunately, Gar's hasty response was still beyond his ability. The wall quickly collapsed under the impact of the shells, and the powerful aftermath blew everyone away. The scene switched, and in the clear weather, an unknown small animal jumped around in the dense forest. Behind a big tree, a familiar figure wearing a Konoha forward protector and with blonde hair appeared in the sky. It's Naruto. Hey. He looks younger than in the last story. He looks about the same as Naruto now. When did this happen? Why is it this Konoha brat again? Isn't the protagonist of this story or Sans Village? The Sky Curtain never said that. You just think it. Yoshi. I'm here again. Everyone, just watch me show off my skills again, just like when I saved the Maiko before. Naruto stepped on the table excitedly, and then was kicked away by Inuzuka Kiba next to him the next second. The two of them wrestled again. On the other side of the adults' wine table, Kakashi covered his forehead and lowered his head. No way, how can we reduce the heat like this? The tasks of our class are almost scheduled for next month. In the Pure Land, Kushina, who had already met up with Uzumaki Mido, looked at Naruto on the Sky Curtain quietly. You are already 12 years old this year, and you don't look very tall. Didn't you eat well? As she thought about it, tears fell from Kushina's eyes. Uzumaki Mido, who maintained a young appearance, touched her head kindly. After Naruto, Sakura also stuck her head out from behind the branches on the other side. There was also a boy wearing a Konoha vest and a pineapple-haired boy hiding behind a big tree in the opposite direction. He was a member of the new generation of pig, deer and butterfly, Narashikamaru. The three of them quietly watched the small animals moving in the woods. A simple trap lured with food was set nearby waiting for the target of the mission to fall into the trap. Nothing unexpected happened. The small animal fell into the trap as planned. The three people who completed the mission happily ran to the trap. Sakura is also small and cute. HMPH. Boring. This pineapple-headed boy also appeared last time, and he seems to be from the Nara family. He is indeed from the Nara clan. I saw him using the shadow secret technique last time. In fact, you can probably tell his family by looking at his hairstyle. Look, Shikamaru, it's your turn to be in the spotlight this time. Aino smiled and patted Shikamaru's shoulder, then looked at Sakura with a very disgusted expression. But why did you show up again with a wide forehead? Sakura reflexively turned her head and hit Aino's head. Do you have any opinions? With no time to care about the competition between the two, Shikamaru showed an expression of the sky falling, and groaned in despair. It's troublesome to think about it. Hey, Shikamaru has never been motivated. Traji said with a smile, while shoving the barbecue on the baking tray into his bowl. Sakura carefully released the small animal from the trap. Perhaps sensing her kindness, the small animal jumped onto Sakura's shoulder and rubbed its head against her cheek. Alright. Such a good kid. 4 legs with black hair, good, it seems to be correct. Shikamaru confirmed the mission target according to the mission process, then turned around and asked Naruto to bring the cage. I don't know what tickled Naruto's funny bone. He laughed at the captured animals heartlessly. How stupid. He was caught by the simplest trap. I can't believe that this silly-looking kid can actually defeat a monster like Wulian in the future. Ninji said that his heart has never grown up. Does that mean Naruto will still be so childish in the future? Ninji obviously didn't mean that. Should be. By the way, do Konoha's Jinan do this kind of task? Catching small animals, weeding, picking up garbage, taking care of children. These are almost all the tasks for newly graduated Jinan. It's an adaptation period, which is understandable. After all, this is not a wartime. Sakura looked at the sky in silence. Naruto, who looked very proud, complained, we fell into Kakashi's trap during the graduation exercise. Naruto quickly argued, it was just an accident. The little animal with human nature seemed to understand the ridicule. It bared its teeth at Naruto with its fur all over its body. It pounced on Naruto's face and scratched his face before he could react, and then took the opportunity to escape from the encirclement of the 3 people. The 3 people hurriedly chased after it, and Shikamaru shouted angrily, idiot. Don't let it run away, Naruto. If you let it run away, I'll see how I'll beat you away. Sakura was so angry that she wanted to beat Naruto again. Fortunately, Naruto reacted quickly enough and caught the escaping little animal before he ran far. However, he stepped on the trap he had set before and was hung upside down on the tree, looking embarrassed. Looking at this scene, Shikamaru squatted on the ground, holding his forehead with his hands in despair. Sakura rolled her eyes and cursed Naruto. See, I was right, Naruto is a fool. He just laughed at me, and then he fell into such a simple trap. He is definitely a fool. The Nara kid looks so desperate. Do all those who have teamed up with Naruto feel the same way? In fact, compared to the grown-up Naruto, he has changed a lot. At least he won't fall into this kind of trap again in the future. The expectations for Naruto are too low. After all, he is Jiraiya's disciple, the one who defeated the demon and saved the Miko. Looking at his expression on the sky, Shikamaru exhaled and said to Naruto, "Naruto, please don't team up with me if you can in the future." Ninji, who will have a similar experience in the future, also nodded in agreement. "I think the same thing." "Hey. Why?" Naruto looked at the two of them with an unhappy face, and Sakura, who couldn't bear it, hit her head, "Because you are an idiot." On the other side of the wine table, Asuma patted Kakashi's shoulder sympathetically. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. In a narrow valley, Naruto and his two companions headed towards their destination with their mission targets. Along the way, Naruto kept complaining, saying that he disliked everything from the mission targets to the clients. Shikamaru said a few words to comfort him indifferently. Sakura corrected Naruto's mistake, saying that the little animal was a ferret, not a cat, but Naruto was not interested in it. He said impatiently, "Anyway, send it back quickly, and then we'll go back to the village." Why are there only 3 people in their team? Even if the kid from the Nara family replaced Hatake Kakashi, what about the other teammate? According to the intelligence collected after the last curtain ended, the third member of Team 7 where Naruto is that Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha. Are there any Uchiha survivors in Konoha? I thought they were all killed by Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Sasuke and Uchiha Itachi are the last 2 Uchiha. The clan that could compete for the strongest position in the ninja world in the past has now ended up like this. So what if they were the strongest in the past? Now only 2 Uchiha are dead, and our weak ninja clan is still alive and well. Sasuke stared at the barrage with his eyes wide open and gritted his teeth, his clenched fist almost piercing his palm. Sensing that his mood was not right, the other Zyukyang present fell silent, and only Sakura mustered up the courage to say something. "Sasuke." Raising his hand to stop Sakura from talking, Sasuke lowered his head and took a few deep breaths, then looked at the sky with a cold face. "I'm fine." The atmosphere was a bit awkward, and everyone could only look at the sky to divert their attention. Aren't we discussing why there are only 3 people with Naruto? Why are we talking about Uchiha? What's the big deal? Uchiha Sasuke died. Didn't we already guess about that during the last time on the sky screen? No way. The people on the sky screen are about the same age as now. Could it be that Uchiha Sasuke will die soon? Why do you think he's dead? Can't he just ask for a leave if he has something to do? Seeing this comment, Naruto stuttered and said awkwardly, "Yes. Sasuke must have something to do, so he didn't go on the mission together." Yes. That must be it. Unexpectedly, Sasuke didn't appreciate it. He was still furious because of the previous comment, so he said to Naruto in a bad tone, "I don't need you to comfort me, you loser. No matter what's on the sky screen, am I dead? Those are things that will happen in the future. Do you think that you are the only one who can change the future? Don't be so self-righteous. Sasuke, that's a bit too much." Kakashi's voice came from behind. Everyone looked back and saw him leaning against the door frame and looking at Sasuke with a serious expression. "Naruto just cares about you." Sasuke also noticed that his attitude was wrong. He left the room after saying something, "Let me be alone." The 3 of them walked through the valley and came to a suspension bridge. Shikamaru took out the map while walking, after crossing that bridge. But before he finished speaking, Naruto suddenly rushed out with excitement. As a result, he stepped on the bridge board and fell down as soon as he ran to the middle of the suspension bridge. Fortunately, he grabbed the edge of the bridge board in time, so he didn't fall into the bottomless canyon. Sakura scolded Naruto, who climbed up. It's hard to say about the rest, but his reckless personality hasn't changed at all. I really admire him for growing up so much. Before, I thought it was just a quarrel between a couple, but now it seems more like an old mother teaching her son. Ha ha ha, that's a good analogy. After Sasuke left, the atmosphere in the room was still a little heavy, but after seeing Naruto's performance on the sky screen, Ino patted Sakura's shoulder sympathetically and said, "Thank you for your hard work, Sakura." Ah. Sakura let out a tired breath and shook her head without saying anything. Naruto, who didn't react, tilted his head and looked at his friend's tangled expressions of expectation and disgust. Ignoring Naruto's failure, Shikamaru looked at the destination in the distance with a map in his hand. Noticing that there was no one there, he told Naruto and Sakura about his discovery. After Shikamaru's reminder, Sakura also felt something was wrong, but Naruto was not so sharp. He stared at the village in the distance with a nonchalant look on his face, and then, as expected, he was beaten down by Sakura again. "You are so sharp, the little brat of the Nara family. After all, they are a family that relies on their brains to make a living. Really great, teaming up with such a smart person. Any problems can be detected in time. Just a little cleverness, isn't it because of the lack of strength that they need to use strategies to make up for it? Awesome. This is the first time I see someone think that the people of the Nara family are just a little clever. It's really just a little cleverness. It's just that the medicine they sell is a little famous. That's right. If it weren't for the help of Ino Shikajo, who would know who the Nara family is? Without strength, you can only rely on your brain to make a living. Why are there so many comments that look down on the Nara family suddenly appearing? Are the people of this family very annoying?" Shikamaru's mouth twitched as he looked at the large number of comments on the sky that belittled the Nara family. If it was not as expected, they should all be posted by his clansmen. After thinking about it, he also posted a message. "Nara Shikamaru is nothing to watch, let's see how Uzumaki Naruto performs." As the leader of the team, since he noticed something was wrong, Shikamaru would not march forward as arrogantly as before, so he and Naruto split into two groups and scouted the destination from two directions. "It's better if it doesn't become a problem." As usual, he expressed his dislike for trouble, but it did not affect Shikamaru's actions at all. Naruto and Sakura arrived at the destination according to the instructions. They hid behind the bush and looked at the village not far away. At this time, the ferret hidden in the backpack suddenly struggled because of something it sensed. Seeing this, Naruto hurriedly comforted it. "Don't make noise." "What's wrong?" "You suddenly got angry." Sakura was also confused, but she didn't know that behind the two of them, an armored man who had appeared before was quietly watching them not far away. "Yet, it's the armored men who attacked the Wind Country before. I was still wondering what happened to these armored men. It turns out that they are from the Fire Country." That Nara Shikamaru prayed that nothing would happen, but trouble came right away. "It seems like he is a jinx. Don't be too superstitious about this. It is normal for accidents to happen during missions. It's really an overstatement that an accident could be a D-level mission that could be upgraded to a B-level mission. If you are a little less capable, you could lose your life." From the vest on Shikamaru, he is at least a Chunin, so it is normal for him to perform a B-level mission. Staring at the sky with dead fish eyes, Shikamaru muttered listlessly, "What a trouble, Chunin or something." Chapter 36. Shikamaru arrived at the destination village, and what he saw was a scene that was almost in ruins. Realizing that the situation had changed, Shikamaru immediately contacted the other two, but suddenly heard Sakura's scream from the headset, and Shikamaru hurriedly asked, "What's wrong?" The three armored men hiding behind Naruto and Sakura suddenly attacked them. Naruto pushed Sakura away violently, and he avoided the enemy's heavy hammer from the sky in another direction. After retreating and dodging a series of attacks from the enemy, he quickly adjusted his balance and launched a counterattack. "Who are you, bastard?" Naruto shouted angrily and punched the enemy in the face, but only made the enemy stagger. The next second, he was grabbed by the ankle and thrown to the ground. Naruto probably never had the concept of testing the enemy in his mind. All the battles were just like this, where he just rushed forward with his fists swinging. It's not that there is no way to test the enemy's strength through direct confrontation. If you want to conduct that kind of covert test, you have to combine the surrounding environment to do it. In comparison, direct confrontation is more convenient. So do you think Naruto is testing the enemy? Maybe, but he didn't even realize it. Is this kind of opponent a bit beyond the scope of Naruto, who is still a Jonin? It's a bit inappropriate to use Jonin to evaluate Naruto's strength. Naruto is just a Jonin when he grows up. I almost forgot about this. It depends on whether Naruto can use Shadow Clone and Rasengan. If he can, this kind of opponent shouldn't be a problem. Shadow Clone is no problem, but Rasengan, then. Naruto looked at Kakashi hesitantly, and the latter comforted him. Don't worry, Master Jiraiya will be back soon, and now that the sky has been revealed, he won't let you face these enemies alone. On the other side, Sakura was dealing with the enemy while reporting to Shikamaru, but after throwing several kunai and hitting the enemy, she found that the opponent's actions were not affected at all. Seeing that ordinary kunai could not hurt the opponent, Sakura tied a detonating tag on the kunai and shot it at the enemy. The armored man did not dodge from the beginning to the end, allowing Sakura's attack to fall on him. The detonating tag exploded and blew the enemy into pieces. Sakura, who was hiding behind a big rock, clenched her fists triumphantly, stood up and shouted, "Well done." But Sakura, who was so forgetful, did not notice that there was an armored man standing behind her at this time. You are really young, and you can reveal such a big flaw. Sakura has few means to deal with the enemy at this time. She should not have become Tsunade's disciple yet. How much strength do you expect from a Genin? This is not a war time. These opponents are indeed no match for the ghost army of Wulian. Although they can still move after being fatally injured, they obviously do not have that kind of recovery ability. Naruto used the Uzumaki Naruto combo to knock down the opponent. Looking at the enemy who was stuck in the ground and unable to move, he smiled triumphantly, but his attention was immediately attracted by a figure that appeared not far away. The flying smoke and dust dissipated, and a boy wearing silver knight armor and golden hair appeared in front of Naruto. Here he comes. This is the villain of today's story. What kind of outfit is this? Does anyone recognize it? It doesn't look like the outfit of the ninja world. Are there still ninjas who are fully armed like this? This type of armor has been eliminated before the Warring States period. Naruto squinted his eyes and looked at the boy who appeared on the sky, and said with a curious look, "Is this my opponent? He doesn't look very good." As one of the protagonists today, the blood boy named Timothy also came from the cabin to the deck with Hyde's permission to watch the sky. "Master Hyde, this is..." Timothy looked at himself appearing on the sky with some surprise, and looked at his Master Hyde with a questioning look. As a bad guy who packages himself as a good guy, Hyde felt something was wrong when he saw the armored men under his command appear on the sky. After all, there was already a precedent of Wuling and Huangquan. Although he was worried that his plan would be exposed by the sky, he had worked hard for so many years, and he would not be willing to let Hyde give up. Even Naruto and other ninjas were determined to change the future, not to mention him as an ambitious man. Therefore, even if he was anxious, although he was worried, Hyde remained calm and kept a kind face. In response to Timothy's question, Hyde smiled and replied, "Don't be nervous, Timothy. This is a revelation of the future. Let's watch it quietly." If Shianmu really exposed his plan, then he would not be able to continue to use Timothy. Thinking of this, Hyde's eyes flashed with coldness, and he secretly gave instructions to several female knights under his command. Timothy raised his thumb and provoked Naruto. Naruto, who had no control over his emotions, was immediately enraged. His main body and clone rushed directly towards Timothy. However, Timothy's clean dodges and counterattacks easily disintegrated Naruto's offensive. The shadow clone that was attacked turned into smoke and disappeared on the spot. Only Timothy was left on the field. Naruto's main body had been hidden at some point. Suddenly, the ground in front of Timothy broke apart, and an orange figure rushed out from the ground, punching his chin. Timothy, who was always on guard, easily dodged Naruto's punch, and kicked Naruto away with a heavy roundhouse kick. Naruto actually has a tactical plan. I thought he would just rush up with his clones to attack the opponent. It's a pity that it didn't work. This boy's reaction is much faster than Naruto's. This boy's movements are very beautiful, simple and effective, much better than Naruto's straight charge. Should Naruto strengthen his physical training? It's a waste of chakra to always use shadow clones as cannon fodder like this. Kakashi looked at the content of the barrage, touched his chin and felt that it made sense, so he thought about the person who was best at physical skills he knew, the thick-browed man wearing a green tights next to him. If Naruto is entrusted to him, the first image that appears in Kakashi's mind is not the scene of Naruto killing people after his physical skills become stronger, but the scene of Naruto wearing a green tights and shouting youth every day. Subconsciously shaking his body, Kakashi intends to ask Naruto's opinion before making a decision. Chapter 37. Timsy landed gracefully, but Naruto's attack hurt him at some point, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of Timsy's mouth. Gently wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth, Timsy looked at Naruto with sharp eyes. Naruto struggled to get up from the ground, enduring the pain in his body. Dozens of shurikens flew towards Timsy, and at the same time, Naruto himself rushed up with a kunai. A round shield popped out from the armor on Timsy's arm to block all the shurikens, and then he raised the dagger with ease to catch Naruto's self-sacrificing attack. The two began a fierce close combat. Naruto's continuous thrusts were blocked by Timsy's dagger one by one, and suddenly Sakura's scream came and distracted Naruto's attention. Seeing this, Timsy counterattacked with a dagger, but Naruto lowered his head and dodged it. Both the attackers did a good job in this attack and defense. Although Naruto's physical skills are not good, his attack speed is still acceptable. Naruto's reaction is actually okay. Why does he look weak when he is obviously strong? Maybe his image as a fool is deeply rooted in people's minds, which makes people ignore his strength unconsciously. After all, he is so stupid that even his handsomeness can be covered up. Maybe this is also Naruto's tactic, showing weakness to the enemy. Seeing that he couldn't do anything to Timsy on the sky, Naruto pursed his lips and said unhappily, "Look at that arrogant look, he's as annoying as Sasuke." Timsy, who was still on the sea, frowned as he watched him and Naruto fighting back and forth. In order to prevent him from fighting each other again in the future, he carefully observed Naruto's movements. Quickly jumping away from the spot, Naruto followed the direction of Sakura's voice and soon saw Sakura being caught by the enemy on the other side of the open space. Naruto blocked Timothy's attack from behind while in midair. After landing, he looked at Sakura, who was held up by the armored man with one hand, and pointed at Timothy angrily and said, "Damn it. He actually took hostages. How despicable." That's exactly what Naruto would say. This kind of method is commonplace for ninjas. Ninja common sense doesn't apply to Naruto. Ha, has Naruto been expelled from the ninja class? Naruto waved his arms angrily. Damn it, everyone is looking down on me. Naruto was still yelling in the same place, but he didn't expect that the armored man who was holding Sakura suddenly swung the round hammer and hit Timothy. Although it was a bit unexpected, Timothy still dodged it quickly. On the big tree next to the armored man, Shikamaru calmly appeared, and stood on the branch with a rescued Sakura, looking down at Timothy. Shadow imitation technique. Shikamaru controlled the other's actions by connecting the shadow under his feet with the armored man. Naruto, I'll leave this to you. The timing of your appearance is just right, Naruto Shikamaru. You must have been hiding behind the tree for a long time. This is what smart people do, control the minions by yourself, and then let your subordinates deal with difficult enemies. Please. Don't talk nonsense if you don't understand. This arrangement must have been made after considering each other's strength. Don't underestimate the Chunin. After all, you can become a Chunin. The level of the leader. The Nara clan, known for their brain power, is the most suitable person to command. Several missions failed because of them. Thinking about it now still gives me a headache. Many people are praising you, Shikamaru. Traji said to Shikamaru happily, but he didn't think it was something to be happy about. Oh, it's so troublesome. Oh. Naruto responded with high spirits, and then performed the multiple shadow clone technique. The shadowy clones instantly filled Timsy's sight. Faced with such an astonishing number of opponents, Timsy raised his short sword and pointed it at the ground without changing his expression. The short sword stretched out and turned into a long sword. At the same time, a ball of green energy emerged and wrapped around the sword. Both sides were ready at the same time. Naruto roared, and hundreds of clones pounced on Timsy. I saw Timothy swinging the sword in his hand. The energy on the sword stretched out with his movements, like a whip, and defeated the clones one by one. In a short time, hundreds of clones were dispersed and turned into smoke. In fact, Naruto used the shadow clones as smoke bombs. Really, I'm speechless every time I see it. If you think about it carefully, the time for the ghost to wake up is 2 or 3 years later, which means that Naruto will use this tactic for a long time from now on. I think there is too much chakra and I don't need it. If you have money, you can donate it to people in need. Kakashi patted Naruto on the shoulder and said, Naruto, I'll introduce you to a personal technique teacher after this story is over. Naruto actually didn't think there was anything wrong with his human wave tactics. Wasn't Mizuki defeated in the same way? However, he didn't reject Kakashi's proposal and nodded expectantly. Timsy, whose vision was blocked by the smoke, remained alert and immediately found Naruto leaping high into the air, rushing towards him with a blue chakra ball in his hand, Rasengan. Thunder God's thunder. Naruto and Timothy roared and attacked each other at the same time. The blue chakra and the blue energy collided violently to form two gas shields that were stuck together until the strong wind generated by the collision tore off Naruto's backpack strap and distracted his attention. Timothy seized this gap and broke the balance with force. A violent explosion suddenly broke the ground under their feet. The two were unable to resist and fell into the bottom of a deep cliff. Naruto only has a few tricks back and forth. First, he conjured a bunch of shadow clones and rushed up to beat up the enemy. After the shadow clones were cleared, he rushed towards the enemy with Rasengan. Don't he have any other tricks? This is the first time I've seen someone who doesn't take hundreds of shadow clones and the fourth Hokage's signature ninjutsu Rasengan seriously. Awesome. I advise those who fantasize that they have figured out Naruto's strength to have a clearer understanding of themselves. Most people have basically fallen down when they encounter this set of combined punches. It's only because the enemies Naruto encounters have their own special features that make him look like he is wasting chakra. Did Naruto also hide his true body and then sneak attack the enemy from underground? It shows that Naruto is still flexible. Don't really treat him as a fool, okay? Because of the huge amount of chakra, this powerful tactic is most suitable for Naruto. Isn't it time to discuss this? Naruto has fallen off the cliff, and no one cares about his safety? Have you forgotten that the grown-up Naruto has already appeared last time? It seems so. In the barbecue restaurant, Hinata and Sakura, who were originally a little worried about Naruto's experience, remembered after seeing these barrages and immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Chapter 38. Shikamaru and Sakura rushed to the edge of the cliff, but the bottomless canyon made it impossible to see Naruto. Before the two of them calmed down, a sudden earthquake interrupted their thoughts. Accidents happened frequently and they could not figure out the current situation. So Shikamaru took Sakura to hide behind a rock and looked in the direction of the sound. They saw a huge land fortress driving through the valley. They were shocked and said, "What is that? Wow. Let's not talk about the purpose of this group of people, but their technical ability is quite good. Because of their lack of strength, they need to use technology to make up for it." Has anyone seen a similar creation? After all, the time point of today's story is not far from now. From the position of this group of people when they first appeared, they might have come from overseas. It feels a bit like that. The boys' clothing style is indeed different from that of the ninja world. The third Hokage took a few puffs of his cigarette, knowing that the situation was becoming more and more complicated. First, there were monsters from other worlds, and now there are invaders suspected to be from other continents. What else will appear on the sky in the future? Do we need to hold a meeting of the 5 cages? This thought came to his mind, but after thinking for a while, the third Hokage temporarily extinguished this idea. The current situation does not need to go this far. In the Pure Land, Uchiha Madara also became curious about the world outside the ninja world, but after thinking for a while, he extinguished this idea. No matter what the situation outside the ninja world is, after he activates the infinite moon reading, there will be no distinction between them, and the whole world will enter the dream he created. The scene changes, and Naruto, who is wrapped in bandages, opens his eyes. He looks around and confirms that he is in a huge tent. Outside the open tent, a bunch of people are gathered around several bonfires. Some are playing unique instruments, a group of children are playing games, young women are preparing food, and there are old people smoking dry tobacco and drinking wine, smiling at the people around them. The overall atmosphere is peaceful. Naruto takes in the whole scene, then turns his eyes to look at the backpack that has been torn apart in front of his sight. After realizing that the mission target is lost, he suddenly stands up, but after pulling the wound on his body, he can't help but let out a burst of pain. After a while, Naruto got used to it, and then looked at his bandaged body curiously, and also noticed Timothy lying beside him unconscious. These two people's vitality is like cockroaches. They didn't lose any limbs after falling from such a height without any protection. Their physical fitness is too good. It's just a mission to find small animals and send them back. Why did it become like this? If it was just that kind of mission, would there be any need for the sky screen to be played? It is obvious that since Naruto and his team took on this mission, they have been involved in the incident of those mysterious people. It's the client's fault. What's wrong with your mission reception office in Konoha? Don't you need to investigate the details of the client? I suggest you thoroughly investigate whether there is any trick. The person in charge of the Konoha mission reception office who was named was sweating profusely. No one expected that they would be blamed for no reason, and it was the future. Don't move around after you wake up. A slightly shrill voice came from outside the tent. The curtain was opened, and a white-haired old man with a red nose walked in with a medicine cup. I thought I would have to sleep for at least 2 or 3 days before I could wake up. Who is Grandpa? Naruto asked. The old man walked up to him and introduced himself. I am the elder of this caravan. My name is Heian. Heian sat down and introduced the situation of the caravan while applying medicine to Naruto. Naruto looked around boredly, and then saw the clothes and armor that Timsy had worn before were neatly folded and placed on one side. After a moment of stunnedness, he realized who the other person was, and stood up and pointed at him and shouted, "Ah, this guy." Timsy also opened his eyes at the right time. I don't think I recognize Naruto. Is this the first day you met him? What's so strange about that? No, to be honest, Naruto and I don't know each other. I just read a story about him on the sky screen. Although I don't want to admit it, after reading his story, I always feel that if I meet him and say hello to him, he will probably respond to me foolishly. This warm feeling in my heart is really disgusting. There is something wrong with the mentality above. Isn't it good to feel warm in the heart? I really want to communicate with Naruto. Hey, Naruto, are you looking at the sky curtain now? Can you say hello to everyone? Yes. I would like to go to Konoha to meet Naruto, but I am a newly graduated Jonin and I am not qualified to leave the village at will. By the way, will ninjas from other villages be arrested if they go to Konoha? No. We will seriously entertain all those who visit Konoha for legitimate reasons. Don't listen to some strange rumors outside. Looking at the group of people on the sky curtain who were discussing him in a friendly manner, Naruto's nose was a little sour, but he endured it for a while and sent a bullet scream with full energy. I am Uzumaki Naruto. I like to eat Ichiriko ramen. My future dream is to become a Hokage. Please give me more advice. Exclamation mark. Oh. Here I come. Is this Naruto? Is he someone pretending to be him? No one should spoil the fun at this time. Based on my understanding of Naruto, this is indeed what he said, then take it seriously. Hello Naruto, you must work hard to become Hokage. Yes. If you come to our village in the future, we will treat you well. It doesn't sound like a good word. How do you want to treat him? Of course, it's a good treat. What else do you think? Although it is impossible to know how many of these comments are sincere, seeing so many people supporting Naruto, Kakashi is also happy for him. Looking at the vitality and bright smile on his face that seems to never disappear, Kakashi seems to be infected and smiles gently. Minato and Kushina smiled at the sky. As parents, they firmly believe that their children will definitely realize their dreams. All they can do is to send them blessings. Chapter 39. Oh, are you awake too? Heian said to Timothy, and when he opened his eyes, he saw Naruto grinning at him. Timothy also showed an angry expression, trying to get up despite the pain, but failed. Naruto yelled at Timothy who couldn't get up. Heian, who was standing by, quickly comforted him and slapped Naruto on the back, causing him to break out in cold sweat and tremble all over. After finally enduring the pain, Naruto still pointed at Timothy and continued to complain. However, just as he started talking, the missing ferret crawled out of Timothy's bed, so Naruto's attention was immediately drawn. It's you. Naruto is fine in other aspects, but I can't accept his habit of shouting. As a ninja, you should always stay calm, so that you can make accurate analysis and judgment when making decisions. It feels a bit difficult for Naruto. I imagined Naruto analyzing the situation calmly and then strictly implementing the tactical arrangements. Sorry, I can't think of it. It's because of stupidity that people feel relaxed. For example, Niji, although he looks reliable, does he feel approachable? Xiao Kayang, who was present, subconsciously looked at Niji, who was not talkative from the beginning, and nodded in agreement. Xiao Li, who was sitting next to him, said to him, Ningxi, everyone is saying that you are difficult to get along with. Come on, be as enthusiastic and cheerful as Naruto, we are all companions. Ningxi's mouth twitched slightly. It was absolutely impossible for him to become like Naruto. Although he couldn't change so thoroughly, at least he wouldn't shake off Xiao Li's arm around his shoulders this time. It is quite easy for young people to get familiar with each other, especially when there are few lively people in the group. As the night deepened, most of the people in the caravan fell asleep. The energetic Naruto was as if he was not injured, and he could even brag and chat with Hien. Hehe, I can usually recover from minor injuries in one day. Hien echoed a response, and pointed out that Timsy's recovery ability was comparable to his. Hearing the other's name, Naruto turned his head and looked at Timsy. The two people who hated each other didn't give each other a good look. The bandages on Timothy's body were removed, revealing his intact body. Hien sighed that it was great to be young, while turning his head to look at the mark on Timothy's chest, revealing a thoughtful expression. Something's going on. This old man seems to know who this boy is. Does anyone know what this mark means? If he really came from overseas, no one would recognize him. Naruto actually called the injury from falling off the cliff a minor injury. What would be considered a major injury? I thought it was outrageous that they didn't lose any limbs, but I didn't expect that this was just a minor injury for them. At this time, the snow ferrets that were running around ran over and climbed onto Hien's shoulder with a light jump. Naruto saw it and quickly took a defensive posture, reminding Hien to be careful. Amused by Naruto's reaction, Hien explained, "Hahaha, Naruto is a little shy, but that's just self-defense instinct." After that, Hien took out food from a bag and fed it to the snow ferret. Seeing that the two sides got along so well, Naruto relaxed his guard, but still had some doubts, so Hien explained that he was the owner of the snow ferret Naruto and the client of Naruto's mission. Naruto then showed an expression of sudden enlightenment. "Naruto, can you be more outrageous? I admit defeat, a genius who doesn't even look at the client's information." As expected, Naruto, you relied on luck to complete the mission before. There is no need to be too serious about this. Anyway, Naruto is not the leader. As long as he follows his companions, he can always complete the mission. The problem is that this guy listens to the leader's command. Naruto pouted unhappily, "Don't keep making fun of me, I will definitely correct this in the future." If this old man is the client, then doesn't it mean that this caravan is the target of those mysterious people? It seems so, but why doesn't this boy react? The prompt of the barrage made Timsy very excited. He looked at Hyde and said, "Lord Hyde, those people may be the people we are looking for who know the location of the Greyer mine." Looking at the Nalugu in the sky and the record of the Greyer book, Hyde smiled and nodded to show his affirmation, "You are right, Timothy. In this way, our dream of creating an ideal town can finally come true. Speed up, we must find this caravan as soon as possible to find out the location of the Greyer mine." On the surface, he looked calm, but Hyde already had a sense of urgency in his heart. As expected, Shyammu began to expose some secrets, and he had to find the Greyer mine before others. After revealing his identity, Hien was about to ask about the progress of the task, but he didn't expect that Nalugu, who was said by Hien to be shy, ran to Timothy at this time and fell asleep directly in his leg. Is that guy really shy? Naruto looked at Hien with some doubt, and Hien's expression was even more confused than his. What's going on? This little animal has nothing to do with shyness, didn't it get along well with Sakura before? That's not the point. The point is that this old man issued a task to send this animal back to the village, but Naruto and his friends ran into those armored men as soon as they got there. Is it a coincidence or a deliberate design? This aspect is indeed worth discussing. If it is a coincidence, there is nothing to say. If it is intentional, it means that the old man knew that those armored men would come to them, so he used the form of a task to pull people into the game. No, you are so poor at analysis. Feet. The mission of finding small animals and sending them back is a D-level mission. The standard configuration is almost a team led by a Chunin. How can it help them to bring people of this level into the game? Do you think all Junin are freaks like Naruto? No need to show off your intelligence on the sky screen. No one knows you anyway. Just watch and you will know everything. HMPH. A qualified ninja must know how to extract clues and analyze intelligence from the details. If you wait for others to tell you everything, you will never achieve anything in your life. Because I think there is no future in being a ninja, I retired a long time ago. Now I have opened a ninja tool store and the business is pretty good. Fuck. It turns out that you are the winner in life. We overestimated our abilities. Chapter 40. The scene returns to Shikamaru and Sakura. The two hid behind a nearby mountain wall and watched the armored men coming in and out of the fortress. Sakura asked in confusion. There are those guys around. Who are they? I don't know. Shikamaru pondered for a moment and decided to split up and let Sakura go find Naruto, while he himself prepared to sneak into the fortress in front of him to collect some information. Although you don't seem to be very motivated, you will still be serious when the time comes. You seem quite reliable, Nara Shikamaru. You say it's troublesome, but when faced with such a complicated situation, the Nara family has always been very reliable. As a teammate who has teamed up with them before, I'm here to promote them. Do you dare to say your name? I advise you not to meddle in other people's business. It's obvious that this is Konoha's propaganda. Don't believe it. Everyone knows that Nara is a scumbag among the Aino, Deer and Joe. It's hundreds of years before they can deceive us. It's just to assist in the battle. When will it be their turn to take the lead? The reputation of the Nara clan is really bad. Every time there is some praise, it will be followed by a lot of criticism. Shikamaru didn't even blink, and followed the barrage with ease. I'm not interested in Shikamaru Nara, I'm looking forward to Naruto's performance. The setting sun covered a village located in the valley. Two mysterious men in cloaks were rummaging through the ruins, searching for something. Young Timothy hid behind a bookshelf that was broken by a beam, and watched in fear as the two mysterious men outside found a square object from the ruins. Suddenly, one of the mysterious men seemed to have discovered the figure hiding behind the bookshelf. He gradually approached Timothy, but for some reason he stopped at the last moment and turned away. The screen shattered like glass, and Timothy was immersed in darkness with tears, until a kind figure appeared in front of him and held his outstretched hand. Come on, the dream ended. Timothy opened his eyes, looked at the sun that appeared from the gap at the top of the tent, and murmured, Lord Hyde. This guy doesn't look like a good person. Huh? How can you tell? Doesn't this paragraph mean that the boy was saved by this man named Hyde? How can you tell that he is a bad guy? Feeling, and don't you think it's very exciting that the savior is actually your enemy? Boring bad taste. Seeing these random speculations, Timothy was instantly angry. What nonsense are these people talking about? How dare they slander Lord Hyde like this? After seeing himself appear on the sky curtain, Hyde, who was originally a little nervous, suddenly felt like he had unloaded a heavy burden. Family members know their own business. Since he has already appeared on the sky, Hyde knows that his disguise will not last long. The next step is nothing more than doing his best and leaving it to fate. As long as the goal is achieved, it doesn't matter if he is exposed. However, Hyde is not in a hurry to show his true face at the moment, because he really wants to see how Timsy will react after the sky reveals everything. It can be regarded as a boring bad taste of a villain. Hyde looked at Timsy kindly and comforted him. Don't be angry, Timsy. They don't understand me, so they have this misunderstanding, but it is precisely because of this that our utopia is more valuable, isn't it? I understand, Lord Hyde. Timsy nodded heavily and paid attention to the progress of the story in the sky again. Timsy, who was deeply CPU, did not put himself and others in the position of villains. Instead, he seriously collected intelligence to help Hyde realize his dream faster. The caravan set off again after a night of rest. Naruto, who was not fully recovered, temporarily accompanied them. Hey, has this caravan been traveling all the time? Naruto asked a lady from a caravan next to him while riding on an ostrich. Because it was a caravan, the lady was not shy and seemed very talkative. She told Naruto that they once had a country, but because of a disaster, the country was destroyed and the people were scattered all over the place. Hien, who was following them, also took up the topic and said, it is said that some people also floated across the sea. Across the ocean. For Naruto, who has never passed the cultural courses, the world outside the ninja world is not in his cognition. Is it other continents overseas? I don't know what the difference is with a ninja continent. It's confirmed, then those armored men and the boy really came from overseas, and their target is this caravan. From what old man Hien said, maybe this caravan and that boy are from the same clan. It feels like it's not a clue but a direct indication. What are these people looking for from so far away? Could it be treasure or something like that? Although the clues can basically be connected, it hasn't been said clearly after all. Let's wait and see how things develop. Hien told Naruto that the snow ferret Iluga was raised in the palace by their ancestors and was a proof of their country's past. He also said that it has always been their family that has taken care of it, so it will never get close to anyone outside the caravan. As soon as he finished speaking, Nalugu ran to the front of the caravan, jumped into the carriage and stood obediently beside Timsy. Hien became very frustrated when he saw this. He ran to that child again. The young lady was also a little confused. Hien was puzzled and had a bitter face. "Little Nalugu, what's wrong with you? It's just that kind of development. This young man is the bloodline of the palace that the old man said, so this snow ferret is so close to him. What about Xiaoying? Isn't this snow ferret also very close to her? Could it be that she is also the bloodline of some palace? It should be just a coincidence. Small animals have their own preferences. We can conclude that this boy and the people in the caravan are of the same clan." Timsy touched his chest, looked at the sky and murmured, "My clan? The royal family." Hyde didn't mind the leakage of this information. He patted Timsy's shoulder and said, "Maybe the truth is just like this. This also explains why only Timsy can use Grayer's power directly without relying on body transformation, because you are originally related to him. No matter who I am, I will do my best to help Mr. Hyde realize his dream of creating an ideal town." Timothy looked at Hyde and said firmly. Hyde patted his shoulder with a look of satisfaction, and his superficial work was done quite well. Chapter 41. The caravan stopped to rest in a meadow. Hey. You should answer my question. Naruto rode an ostrich to a caravan carriage and asked Timothy, who was alone, "Why did you suddenly attack us?" Timothy looked at Naruto's face and was slightly stunned. He recalled a scene of him performing the Rasengan before. However, this performance made Naruto think that the other party didn't want to pay attention to him, and he shouted angrily, "Hey! I'm asking you a question." His memory was interrupted by Naruto's voice and he came back to his senses. Timothy asked curiously, "What is your strange power?" Power? Are you talking about chakra?" Naruto asked back with a confused look on his face. Chakra. Timothy murmured, touching his heart and thinking secretly, it's definitely not Grayer's reaction. Grail, what is this? This boy is not using the power of chakra. Is it an overseas power system? I wonder how it differs from chakra. From the way this boy fought before, it seems a bit like the way the Iron Country warriors use chakra. Their technical level is obviously higher than that of the ninja world. Perhaps they are a civilization that tends to develop external things. Is it similar to ninja tools? It's nothing special. Chakra is not without similar development directions. It's just that most of them were eliminated because of their own lack of strength. The air ninjas during World War II are a typical example. The senior officials of various countries, who originally did not pay much attention to this group of people, suddenly became interested after learning that they might be using another system different from chakra. Although it is impossible to give up chakra and turn to tinker with Grail, it is also a good choice to study it as a technical supplement. Therefore, the coastal area between the Wind Country and the Fire Country became more and more lively. All the ninja villages, big and small, sent people to this area to look for the traces of Hyde and his gang, and even Hien's caravan was within their search range. Interesting. In a secret base somewhere, Orochimaru, who was doing daily data sorting, looked at the sky curtain with interest. As a famous scientist in the ninja world, he was most interested in this unknown thing. He thought about it and sent some subordinates to join in the fun. Obito, who had been doing nothing since the fourth Mizukage was killed, asked Black Zetsu beside him, "Do you know this thing called Grayer?" Black Zetsu really didn't know what this thing was this time. Grayer was active long before Kaguya Otsutsuki came to Earth. I haven't heard of it. Maybe it's too long ago. Oh. Originally, there was no intention to investigate further. After seeing that he couldn't get any information, Obito looked at the sky curtain again. Hey. Answer my question quickly." Seeing Timsy change the subject and immerse himself in his own inner world, Naruto shouted angrily, "Who are you?" So Timsy gave a strange answer, "I'm here to create an ideal town." Hey, ideal, what is that? This word obviously touched Naruto's blind spot in knowledge, and Timsy didn't care whether he understood it or not, and directly invited Naruto to join them. Naruto was so angry at Timsy's attitude that he rolled his eyes and frantically asked why the other party attacked him, but before he could finish his words, the ostrich he was riding chased a cricket and took him away from the spot. This guy is not very good at talking. He keeps answering questions that are not relevant. Creating a utopia, what kind of childish dream is this? Although it is a very childish dream, people who pursue this kind of thing should not be bad people. No, how can this guy be a bad guy when he is so good looking? To be honest, since Hyde showed up, I have assumed that he is the villain of this story. Will the bad guy's face be written on his face? Why can we tell good from bad based on his face? What's wrong with ninjas nowadays? What's wrong with this guy? What does utopia mean? Naruto scratched the back of his head in annoyance and looked at his friends around him for advice. After thinking for a while, Shikamaru explained to Naruto in a way that he could understand. In simple terms, it is a place where everyone can feel happy and blessed. That guy wants to create such a place. Hey, isn't that great? But why did he attack me in Sakura? After understanding the meaning of utopia, Naruto became even more confused, so Kakashi followed and gave him advice. Don't believe what others say easily, because the other party may just be deceiving you. You need to learn to observe and analyze by yourself. That means this guy is lying. Damn guy, I'll beat him up when I see him. Naruto said angrily, and Kakashi sighed helplessly. Forget it, let him see how the follow-up develops. After Naruto left, Timothy moved his palms to confirm that his body was fine, so he re-equipped the armor he had taken off and planned to leave the caravan. Nilugu, who was particularly close to him, followed closely behind. One man and one beast walked across the grass, and Timothy also saved a child who fell from a tree. The members of the caravan surrounded Timothy and thanked him. Naruto stretched out his hand with a proud face to pull him up, but was ignored by Timothy. He stood up directly and said in a flat voice, "This way, we won't owe each other anything." After saying that, he left the crowd. On the other side, in the huge land fortress, Shikamaru sneaked into it from the ventilation duct, looked at the armored men patrolling around the fortress through the vents on the duct and complained, "Really, they all look the same." After figuring out the opponent's movement trajectory and confirming that no one was watching around, Shikamaru left the duct and came to a space where a huge metal structure stood. Looking inside from a circular observation port on the metal wall, Shikamaru found that the metal structure was an environment similar to a culture room. A complex machine was connected to a spherical transparent cabin, and inside the cabin were children holding glowing balls and soaking in some kind of liquid. Human experiment. It feels like some kind of energy absorption device. I said, that Hyde is not a good person. The little brother who took the initiative to save people must have been deceived by him. Naruto looked at Shianmu with anger. Asshole. Actually doing such a thing. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. It seems that they have lost consciousness. Shikamaru made a judgment on the status of the children in the cabin. At this time, two female knights dressed similarly to Timothy walked into the metal creation. The female knight in blue armor impatiently started the machine and said angrily, "How long do we have to take care of these guys? It's not good to be impatient," another female knight in green armor reminded, and then looked at the children in the machine and said coldly, "As long as we get the Greyer Stone, these children will be useless. Just bear with it." The blue-armored female knight also knew the purpose of her and others. While pulling the other handle on the machine, she said indifferently, "But we still need some troops." With these words, Shikamaru, who was observing outside, saw two flesh-colored spheres generated from the machine and slid out of the room along the pipe. After a few breaths, the spheres turned into the armored men who looked exactly the same as those seen before. Scared by the scene in front of him, Shikamaru accidentally leaked his breath. The two female knights in the metal room immediately noticed someone peeping, but when they rushed out of the room, Shikamaru's figure had disappeared. Are these armored soldiers made of those children? It feels like something was extracted from those children as raw materials. It can't be something like vitality. No wonder these armored men can still move normally after being fatally injured. It turns out that they are not human at all. It seems that the purpose of these people is to find the so-called Greyer Stone. If it's not surprising, Hiyam from the caravan should be the insider. It's too much? How can you treat those children with such an attitude? Hyde, who had always been calm, suddenly became very angry. He looked at Timsy, who had a gloomy face, and said apologetically, "Timsy, I want to apologize to you. I didn't expect Camilla and the others to look at the noble sacrifices made by those children in this way. I will let them reflect on it later." Although he was in a bad mood, Timsy knew that those children voluntarily sacrificed themselves for their ideals, so he would not think that Hyde was a bad person for this reason. He shook his head and replied, "I'm fine, Lord Hyde. I understand their feelings, and I have long been prepared to sacrifice myself for the creation of an ideal town. The sky gradually darkened. On the caravan side, Naruto only realized that Timothy had left until now. At the same time, he learned from Heian that Telugu was also missing, so Naruto immediately associated the two with leaving together. Naruto, who originally thought that the commission had been completed, only noticed that this was not the designated destination of the mission after Heian's complaint, and now he even lost the mission target. If I had known this, I should have asked the more outstanding Sans village. Heian said with a look of regret, and the look down upon Naruto couldn't stand hearing such words, so he shouted, "Really? I know. This old man is quite insightful, knowing that our Sans village is better than Konoha." Puff. The more outstanding Sans village, sorry, I remembered something happy. In fact, this sentence is not wrong in some aspects, because Sand Village is poorer, so for the same price of the task, Sand Village can hire ninjas of higher level than Konoha. Ha ha ha. Don't say such big truths everywhere, just say it on the sky screen, pay attention next time. It turns out that being poor has its advantages, lol, don't let me know who you are, I'll let you know how powerful we are in the Sand Village sooner or later. To be honest, Naruto is so easy to deal with. I feel like I can just use provocation to throw the difficult work to him. If it's a battle, he would rush to do it without you asking. This is obviously the most dangerous part of the mission, but why do some people enjoy it so much? He's a battle maniac? There are a lot of such ninjas in the ninja world. I don't feel this trait in Naruto. Really, you always say bad things about me when you have nothing to do, Naruto muttered unhappily. Sakura came to the valley where Naruto fell, and found the remnants of the bonfire on the grass, as well as a lot of traces of carriages and horses, so she had a definite search direction. On Naruto's side, after promising to bring Telugu back, he finally caught up with Timothy in the fog. Naruto walked up to him and said unhappily, "Give me back the cat." Timothy didn't. There was a response. Naruto followed his sight and saw a huge fortress stretching in front of him. Naruto looked at the huge monster in front of him with a shocked face, then looked at Timothy and asked, "Who are you?" "My name is Timothy. Come on, let me introduce you to Lord Hyde." Timothy was still talking to himself as usual, and walked straight to the fortress without waiting for Naruto's response. Naruto had no choice but to follow him. Is there something wrong? No, just followed him like that. Isn't Naruto afraid that it's an enemy trap or something? He probably doesn't have that idea in his mind. I can see that Naruto thinks that Timothy is not a bad guy because he saved the caravan's children, but it's different for others. Does he think that the companions of good people are necessarily good people? Naruto is really lucky to be able to grow up to the age where he can deal with the monsters. To be honest, if any normal ninja had done the outrageous things that happened to him, he would have died long ago. Naruto's team leader and master, don't you teach them seriously? That's incompetent. Hey. Why do you have to remind them? Isn't it better not to teach them? Do you want Konoha to have another Naruto who is serious, cautious and stubborn? Why? Because I belong to Konoha. No matter what is sent on the sky, it is no longer a secret, so there is no need to worry about it. Yes. Everyone should believe in Naruto's brain. He can't remember these rules and regulations. Kakashi wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. It seems that there are still some people who understand that Naruto's character is not something that he, a team leader, can change casually. Jiraiya, who is returning to Konoha, doesn't think there's anything wrong with Naruto's behavior. Compared with the few disciples he accepted before, he thinks Naruto's character is closer to him. Minato Namikaze in the Death God's belly was a little embarrassed. Although he was very pleased that Naruto could develop such an optimistic personality, Naruto, if possible, it would be better to be a little more cautious. Chapter 43. Naruto followed Timothy deeper into the fortress and learned from him who Hyde was. However, Naruto was not very concerned about this. Instead, an armored man walking by caught his attention. "I say, are all your companions those strange guys?" "Those are just loyal soldiers. My companions are." Timothy didn't know what he was thinking, and he was hesitant to speak. The two took the elevator to the upper floor of the fortress. There was a spacious hall here. Hyde was sitting high in the middle of the hall, reading a book. "Timsy, you're back." He greeted Timsy, who was kneeling on one knee in front of him, closed the book and put it on the table beside him, then stood up and looked at Naruto with a kind face. "It's you. According to the information Timsy gave me, you have an interesting power." This condescending tone is a bit unpleasant. Where did this country bumpkin come from? He doesn't think that mastering the power of Grayer can be compared with chakra. He doesn't look like a good person, but he disguises himself well. No wonder Timsy was kept in the dark. Why do you just assume that Timsy was deceived? Ah. He seems to know about those kids. Can't Timothy be a bad guy like Hyde? Timothy seems to believe that he and others are fighting for a beautiful belief. If it is true, it is too sad. Good people doing bad things is worse than bad people doing bad things. They can't even explain the reason. Don't talk nonsense if you don't know anything. Do you know how my companions joined this team? Timothy said to himself while looking at the sky, as if he wanted to strengthen his belief in this way, so that Hyde, who was watching him, would raise his mouth happily. Naruto stared at the sky curtain and memorized Hyde's face firmly in his mind. Humph. It was this Hyde who locked up those children. I have remembered him and will make him pay later. Hey, Naruto. You don't think that just because you solved the enemies on the sky curtain, you have to be the one. Since you already know the existence of these people in advance, you may not be the one to stand out. Yo wiped his nose and said eagerly. That's right, Naruto-kun. If our team encounters these people later, I will definitely teach them a lesson with my fists. Xiaoli waved his fists a few times and said with the same eagerness. Ha. I won't let you get ahead of me. The first team to solve these people must be our Team 7. Naruto looked at the two guys who wanted to steal the credit from him, and immediately choked back in dissatisfaction. Looking at the noisy crowd, Kakashi smiled and shook his head. No matter what the background of Hyde and his gang is, since they have already appeared on the sky, the task of investigating them must fall on the shoulders of a group of Jonin, and it has nothing to do with them, a group of Jonin. Timsy suddenly drew his sword and attacked Naruto. He wanted to show Hyde the power of chakra through direct combat, but he was stopped by Hyde as soon as Naruto dodged his attack. Timsy still hesitated, and then looked at Hyde with a compassionate face and said, no matter what, fighting is not right. This guy is pretending to be serious. In fact, it may not be pretending. Since Timsy can be considered to be doing bad things with good intentions, then Hyde can also be considered to be good. Maybe he really has good beliefs, but he just doesn't act very appropriately. No matter what this guy thinks in his heart, using children as experimental materials is enough to arrest him and lock him up in the land of grass. I still think Hyde is not a good guy. From the beginning to now, everything his subordinates have done can be labeled as a bad guy. If this can be considered a good person, then it is better to believe that Uchiha Madara is a pacifist. Ha ha ha, this metaphor is interesting. Uchiha Madara who yearns for peace, ha ha ha. Although there is no clear evidence, this Hyde should be not a good person as those people speculate. Shikamaru leaned on his head and gave his opinion casually. Naruto heard his words and immediately responded excitedly, do you still need to guess about this kind of thing? Those children are locked in that transparent ball, and that arrogant Timothy, these two people must be big villains. Next, let me, Naruto, teach them a lesson. Humph. You can only show off on the sky curtain next. Our Team 8 will find these people before everyone else does. Inuzuka Kiba took a bite of the barbecue viciously. His idea was similar to Naruto's, but he was angry that the other party was showing off. The wall in front of the hall slowly rose, revealing the clear blue sky outside the fortress. Naruto ran to the edge of the hall happily and looked at the scene outside. Hyde also walked over slowly and told Naruto about his dream. Naruto, we are running around to create an ideal hometown. What is an ideal hometown? Naruto asked with a confused look on his face. Hyde walked to his side and looked into the distance. It's like this. Simply put, it is a world without struggle and the weak will not be bullied. A world without struggle. Well, our hometown, in a distant continent where wars are constantly raging, the so-called struggle is always an ugly and sad thing, making everyone unhappy. Timsy, who lost his hometown in the war, is one of them. Hyde expressed his views on fighting, and mentioned Timothy's past. If this guy is really a good person, then this idea is too naive. Does anyone still think this guy is a good person? This level of rhetoric can also attract followers. I didn't believe it when I was 10 years old. No matter whether Hyde said his true thoughts or not, the three people with the future boss label of the ninja world sneered at this rhetoric. In the Rain Country, the emaciated Nagato looked at the sky expressionlessly. It's as naive as Jiraiya's unrealistic idea. Humans are creatures that cannot understand each other, and they still want to create a world without struggle. In a certain base, Abrito coldly commented on Hyde's dream, reality is hell, and a world without struggle only exists in dreams. In the Pure Land, Uchiha sneered at the ridiculous scene on the sky screen. He saw at a glance that Hyde was just an ambitious man, so he became more determined to implement the idea of unlimited moon reading. Chapter 44. Naruto looked at Timothy with some empathy, but Timothy, who pinned all his dreams on Hyde, didn't think he needed sympathy from others. When Timothy was a child, he survived a village that was burned to ashes by a raging fire. After seeing him, I made up my mind to protect the weak and powerless. I want to create a world where no one has to fight. That is the utopia, my dream. For my dream, I traveled around and recruited comrades. After a long time, I finally reached the current scale. Unfortunately, some people also made sacrifices in the process. After telling his own experience, Hyde looked at Naruto and invited him to join his team, but Naruto said that he wanted to become Hokage, so he refused a little embarrassedly. Although I can't go with you, I will also work hard for the happiness of the villagers. Naruto expressed his ambitions, and Hyde also encouraged him habitually. Then, let's work hard together. Naruto never doubts others, he believes everything others say. As a ninja, it's better to be a little more suspicious, Naruto, so that you won't be easily deceived. Naruto and Hyde are just talking about quite empty dreams, but Naruto gives people a more worthy feeling. The feeling of believing. What is Hyde's specific plan to create an ideal town? How can others accept the invitation without explaining it clearly? Looking at himself chatting happily with Hyde on the sky, Naruto wrinkled his nose and said unhappily, "This guy obviously has such a great ideal, but he actually did such a thing." While the two were talking, Naruto climbed onto Timothy's shoulder and bared his teeth at Hyde. Seeing this, Timothy quickly apologized to Hyde and said that the ferret came from the caravan where he stayed. From the caravan, is that so? Hyde looked at Naruto, who was furious at him with his green eyes, and murmured thoughtfully, "Caravan." Suddenly, an alarm came from the fortress's broadcast. From the communicator's report, Hyde learned that the fleet sent to the Kingdom of Wind had been annihilated. Before Naruto could react to what happened, Timothy rushed out in a hurry. Naruto, confused, followed closely behind him to ask for clarification. Watching the two leave, Hyde ordered his subordinates with a serious expression, "There is no other way, Fook. I want you to go somewhere." As expected, you are a clown who overestimates your own abilities. Do you think you can invade the Kingdom of Wind by relying on the power of Grayer? Take a good look at the power of the 5 great ninja countries. Sand Village. Hey! Don't expose your strength on the sky screen casually. What if this Hyde is scared away? If he is scared away, then he will be scared away. If he escapes, even if he saves his life, let him run around to show the strength of our Sand Village. On Konoha's side, Sakura's focus was different from others. Hyde is going to send his men to find the previous caravan. Shikamaru nodded and analyzed. Obviously, he seems to recognize the ferret named Naruto. Combined with the previous clues, the connection between Grayer, the caravan, and Timothy can be basically confirmed. At the same time, Shikamaru did not say some analysis. If it goes as expected, the people who attacked Timothy's village are Hyde and his men. Looking at the barrage of comments insulting Hyde on the sky, Timothy gritted his teeth and said angrily, "It's too much? Not only did they slander Mr. Hyde's dream, but they also dared to underestimate our strength like this." As the person being ridiculed, Hyde was not angry, but comforted Timothy instead. "Timothy, don't be blinded by your anger. You can see that although there is no war on this new continent for the time being, people's fighting spirit is even more than that of the previous continent. Doesn't this require our guidance even more? The more they ridicule, the more it proves that my dream is correct. As long as the utopia can be successfully created, then all this will be changed." On the surface, he was extremely tolerant, but Hyde was sneering in his heart. "The Wind Country Sand Village, right? After I master the Grayer Mine, I will let you see what is truly powerful, and what are the 5 major ninja countries. I will build a new empire on your land, and everything belongs to me." Arriving at the beach where the Sand Ninja intercepted the enemy before, Naruto looked at the fleet that was almost torn to pieces with a serious expression. Seeing Timothy walk into the ship stranded on the beach, Naruto frowned and followed. The equipment in the cabin, even includes the hull itself, was severely damaged and twisted, and there was hardly a single intact place. The two of them came all the way to the core area of the ship. Looking carefully, they saw a large number of children whose lives and deaths were unknown, lying in the ruined cultivation room in front of them. Naruto walked into the room and looked around with a serious face, then asked Timsy in front of him, "Hey, what's wrong with these people?" Timsy remained silent, and Naruto immediately shouted angrily, "Answer me." As soon as the voice fell, a puppet with 3 eyes and the word bird written on its chin fell from the sky, and its 4 hands and feet wrapped around Timsy and locked him tightly in his arms. "Naruto, why are you here?" A slightly familiar voice came, and Naruto turned his head and saw Kankuro also falling from the sky not far away. "You are from Sans Village." "What's wrong with you, Sans Village shinobi? How come you are also familiar with Konoha? The big brother who said he was going to find information before, is there anything you can reveal?" Kankuro, Sand Village Jinan, puppeteer, and the red-haired one before, Gaara, Sand Village Jinan, good at manipulating sand, both are sons of the 4th Kazakage. Take the information, no thanks. "Thank you, good people will have a peaceful life." "Asshole. You are showing off with our Sans Village information, do you dare to sign up? Don't make such boring provocations again, normal people know that I can't reveal my identity, isn't Konoha a precedent, it's just a waste of energy." "Lord Kankuro. Another child of the 4th Kazakage, what's wrong with your Kazakage in Sand Village? Could it be that he has secretly defected to Konoha?" Leaf. Rosa, who was in the meeting room with the elders, said calmly in the face of everyone's gaze, "Don't pay attention to these remarks. Anonymous and simple operation, similar remarks are impossible to check. Didn't we know it last time when Konoha was verbally attacked? As for the future relationship between Sans Village and Konoha, we will discuss it after the sky curtain is over." After seeing the conversation between Kankuro and Naruto, Temari complained speechlessly, "You were talking about me before, now it seems that you are also quite familiar with the people of Konoha, and the time is earlier." Kankuro was a little depressed, looking at Temari with a sidelong look. "As you said, this is what happened in the future, what can I do now?" "The future." Temari exhaled, lying on the table and tilting her head to look at the sky curtain. "What happened to make Gar become like that?" Chapter 45. Naruto learned from Kankuro that the Kingdom of Wind suffered heavy losses due to the invasion. After Timsy bluntly admitted that they were responsible, he immediately became angry. "I'm sorry to interrupt your chat. It's time for me to finish him off." Kankuro interrupted their conversation, but Naruto, who was angry, had no intention of following orders. "Don't get in the way. This guy's opponent is me." "What? Ha. Should I say it's worthy of Naruto? It's really not surprising. Naruto is stubborn and won't listen to any opinions. People who experience it for the first time will probably be confused, especially those who make serious suggestions. Kankuro's momentum is good, don't let overseas people underestimate us ninjas." "Asshole Naruto, how dare you be like this with Kankuro? Master Kankuro, please speak. The little brats of Konoha, don't interfere with their actions in Tsunagakure." "Ahem, from the sky, it seems that the relationship between Tsunagakure and Konoha is pretty good in the future. Everyone, please be careful not to say too much." Not only did Naruto not think that there was anything wrong with his attitude, but he said confidently, "If it were me, I would definitely beat up the Timsy. Obviously, the future me thinks he is a good person." Taking advantage of the moment when Kankuro's mind was shaken, Timsy suddenly broke free from the restraints of the puppet and threw it away, pulling out his weapon against Naruto. Kankuro was not annoyed by this, and reconnected the puppet to prepare to attack Timsy. Just as the two sides were about to fight, Kankuro suddenly noticed a breath of a stranger behind him. He turned his head and saw that the 2 female knights who had appeared in the fortress training room before had also come here. The 2 scolded Timothy and told him to get out of here. At this moment, 2 blocks of sand suddenly rushed from both sides and sandwiched the 2 of them. The strong aftermath of the collision caused 2 huge sand waves outside the ship. "Oh. I got scared. What a neat attack, the timing was just right. These 2 women won't just disappear like this, I want to see them and collect some information about Greer. By the way, these 2 women treat Timothy so badly. They're all Hyde's subordinates, why do they act so arrogant and don't take people seriously? With this team atmosphere, you still expect to create an ideal town, you're dreaming, right? That's why Hyde's dream is unreliable. It can only deceive children and Naruto. No one refutes the fact that Naruto will be deceived. It seems that everyone assumes that you are a fool." Sakura teased Naruto. "Damn it. I'm not an idiot. It's all because Hyde and Tim look too good in suits." Naruto tried his best to get rid of the label of an idiot. Everything was the enemy's fault. Gaara's fists met, but the next second he knew that his sneak attack had failed. He looked up and saw that the two female knights had jumped high and escaped from his attack range. Gaara chased them without hesitation. "I won't let you escape." Kankuro also followed closely behind to chase the enemy, while complaining, "Still late again as usual." Seeing that she couldn't easily get out of the battle, the female knight who was still retreating stopped and turned around to prepare for the enemy. It's not that simple. Next, let's see how their so-called Grayer performs. These two guys look quite confident, as if they don't take their opponents seriously. HMPH. They just don't have enough experience. How can overseas guys understand how powerful we are in Sand Village? Yeah, you guys in Sand Village are invincible. Can you stop bragging here? Asshole. What do you mean by that? You said we in Sand Village are bragging. This. I still don't dare believe it. Kenjiro actually kept talking to that Gaara in this tone. Temari looked at Kenjiro with some worry. Why don't you find a place to hide first? The current Gaara is not the one on the sky curtain. I'm afraid he can't control himself and attack you after seeing the sky curtain. Oh, I'll go to my dad's place later. Kenjiro seemed to understand the seriousness of the matter. No matter how close he was to Gaara in the future, it had nothing to do with the present, so it was better not to joke with his own life. Fortunately, Gaara had no intention of coming to teach Kenjiro a lesson for the time being. After seeing the harmonious picture between the two brothers on the sky curtain, although he was extremely irritated and wanted to kill someone, at the same time, a strange emotion rose in his heart, which made him almost suppress his emotions. Gaara, who was unable to control his emotions, was able to remain calm and did not take any action. Naruto, who remained motionless, looked at Timsy, who was pointing his sword at him with an expression of incomprehension. What on earth are you thinking about? Timsy's tone was quite calm, and he said, as a matter of course, I should have told you that in order to achieve a great goal, it is inevitable to make corresponding sacrifices. What did you say? Naruto pointed angrily at the children whose lives and deaths were unknown in the broken cabin next to him. Aren't they your companions? Companions, and our common ideal is to dedicate everything to utopia. There was no wavering on his face, which showed that Timsy had experienced similar things a long time ago, but the more determined he was, the more Naruto could not accept it. Don't talk nonsense. It's as if it has nothing to do with me. What kind of companions are you? The two people with serious conflicting values glared at each other. I don't understand why Naruto is so excited. Even if Timsy doesn't take his companions seriously, it's someone else's problem. Maybe he has too strong empathy. Last time in the sky curtain, when he saw Shion belittling the people around her, did Naruto also angrily criticize her? I think Naruto is too familiar with others. Because he treats Shion and Timsy as his own people, he can't stand the behavior of not paying attention to their companions. If you say that, wouldn't Naruto explode every day if he lived in the mist shadow? Their people still directly attack their companions, and they are companions who live together day and night. You can't use the Blood Mist Village as an example. They may not even have the concept of companions there. The Zyuoqiang who watched in the west showed a serious expression of listening. After considering it, he said, based on the changes in the current situation, then arrange a time to make up for you. How much should let you know about other ninja villages? When you, Naruto and Inuka suddenly collapsed. Knowing that since the emergence of the sky, it has had a considerable impact on the ninja world, and with the existence of the sky curtain, this impact will continue to expand. As people who have appeared in the sky or may appear, it is not a bad thing for them to know more about them. Chapter 46. Kenjiro pursued the enemy without haste. The female knight who had not taken action suddenly turned around in midair and opened her arms. A black curtain rose from her body and surrounded Kenjiro. Kenjiro stopped in a hurry and looked at the pitch-black darkness around him. He said indifferently, "It's just getting darker. It's not a great barrier." As soon as he finished his evaluation, a huge face appeared behind Kenjiro, followed by countless figures screaming into his ears. These are the people who were sent to hell to be punished for resisting us. The female knight's voice echoed in this dark space, and Kenjiro instantly knew what tricks the other party had used. This guy is an illusionist. Let the endless power of time bring you eternal pain. As the female knight said this, a series of outstretched arms grabbed Kenjiro and threw him into the boiling magma below while he was struggling. Ugh, what a childish illusion. Ho ha, does anyone still believe in hell and punishment after death? It might be more effective if you stab him with a knife in the illusion. Really? But why does this sand ninja look like he has no resistance at all? How? This guy is a puppeteer, and the son of the fourth Kazekage. It's impossible that he doesn't know the puppeteer's tricks. What tricks? Ask the teacher yourself. Don't use the sky curtain as a tool to answer questions. Grell can also use abilities similar to illusions. I'll look forward to other performances from this group of people. On the other side, Gaara also caught up with a rude female knight. She put her hands together and spread them to both sides, and then a thick electric current jumped in the female knight's palm. Thunder and lightning strike. Accompanied by the female knight's voice, lightning split the ground under her feet like a knife cutting through butter and rushed straight towards Gaara. Gaara stood still with his hands clasped in front of his chest from beginning to end. Even if the opponent broke the hull above and smashed down with a collapsed hull structure, the sand still blocked all the attacks without any flaws. When the female knight's attack ended, Gaara immediately controlled the sand like raindrops to launch a counterattack. Sand rain. The dense sand rain almost covered the entire narrow space. The female knight generated a lightning barrier from the palm of her right hand and easily resisted the attack. Then she changed the output form of energy and bounced all the attacks back. After approaching Gaara, the sand rain disintegrated and failed to cause any damage to him, but the female knight was very excited at this time. Haha, what's wrong? Keep playing. The female knight pressed her palm on the ground, and a violent shock wave rushed towards Gaara from the ground. This is an attack similar to the lightning escape, but they don't need to make a seal before releasing the attack. The attack without a seal is really convenient. When I was in the ninja school, I suffered several losses because the speed of making a seal was too slow. After graduation, I practiced hard to make a seal in actual combat. Last time in the Sky Curtain and this time in the Sky Curtain, I rarely saw people making seals. How come the no-seal ninjutsu is so popular now? How is it possible? Those who have appeared in the Sky Curtain are all special cases. Don't take this cognition as common sense. Most serious ninjas need to make a seal. The representative of the serious ninja, Hashigaki Kisame, nodded in agreement. Naruto's Rasengan is a representative unmarked ninjutsu, created by the fourth Hokage to match his speed. We need to ask Iwagakure for advice on this. After all, they suffered heavy losses against Minato Namikaze during the Third World War, so they should have unique experience. Don't hit someone in the face. Is it really okay for you to expose their scars like this? Rumors. They are all rumors. When have we ever been afraid of Minato Namikaze? If you have the guts, let him come out and confront us. If it's true, I'm afraid that if I come out, I'm afraid that many of you will be scared to death. I always feel that there are too many people who are fanning the flames. They were against Kurigakure before, and now they are against Iwagakure. Next, it should be the turn of Kumagakure. Okay, let's not go off topic. Let's discuss the battle between Gaara and this female knight. There's nothing much to say. Gaara will win. Well, although I don't really want Tsunagakure to be in the spotlight, Gaara's performance is indeed good. At least his defense is flawless, and he has always been very calm. Compared with Naruto, the shouting fighting style of others is much more stable. Gaara's defense is an absolute defense. This kind of enemy's attack will never work. Pay attention. Don't get too complacent and leak the village's information. Kanjuro, who was trapped in the illusion, saw more and more illusions. After his reaction became slow, the female knight who was fighting with him suddenly appeared and grabbed his neck. Kanjuro tried hard to tear the enemy's hand away, but he never thought that the opponent's strength was much greater than expected. The female knight looked at the struggling Kanjuro and said calmly, "Struggling is useless." Unexpectedly, Kanjuro's face, which was being strangled by the neck, suddenly cracked. With the falling sand and losing the disguise, the female knight realized that she had only grabbed the opponent's puppet. Taking advantage of her momentary distraction, the puppet opened its mouth and shot out 3 kunai, but it only scattered the female knight in front of her and turned her into dozens of bats. The surrounding darkness dissipated, and Kanjuro's body appeared in the next layer of the hull, with a slightly serious expression. What a difficult guy. That's it, the puppeteer's usual trick. When you think the body is the breakthrough point and choose to attack, you will find that you are attacking only a puppet, and then because you are too close to the opponent, you will be covered with poison gas or eaten by a few poisoned weapons. Then why don't I just attack the opponent's puppet directly, so that I don't have to worry about being ambushed? You are so naive. A puppet is the puppeteer's condensed fighting power. What's the difference between facing a puppet and bearing the enemy's attack head-on? Don't think you can easily distinguish between the puppeteer's body and the puppet. You may die without knowing how you died. You are the one who feeds the sand village after all. You should take it a little more seriously. If the opponent is only this level, I am sure to defeat her even now. After watching the whole battle, Kankuro made his own judgment. The mature and prudent Temari reserved her opinion. Before completely defeating the enemy, it is better to be cautious. After all, it is a different ability system from chakra. No one knows what other abilities the opponent has hidden. Chapter 47. The shock wave burst out from the ground, but it did not have the expected power. It turned out that this attack was just to attract Gaara's attention. The female knight, who was originally some distance away from him, suddenly appeared above Gaara, and then quickly fell down to an attack distance that was within reach. Gaara reacted quickly and counterattacked, gushing sands towards the female knight, but she didn't dodge, and rushed towards the attack with 2 balls of lightning in her hands, double thunder. The 2 powerful attacks collided violently, and the impact caused a large amount of smoke and dust. Gaara was directly knocked to the next space. The female knight, who seemed to be unharmed, walked out of the broken gap calmly and laughed. "Oh, so fragile. I think I heard someone say that this is absolute defense, but this is the result." Ha ha ha, the slap in the face came so quickly. Impossible. Gaara's absolute defense can't be broken so easily. Please, pay attention to the enemy's attack. Lightning, don't you know that thunder escape is better than earth escape? To be honest, the opponent this attack power is not bad. It seems that the so-called Grayer is not without merits. Humph. It's just that I didn't meet a strong opponent. If it were us, we would have no problem standing there and letting the opponent hide us. Kankuro, who had originally looked down on his opponent, looked at the sky screen seriously and said in a serious tone, "I didn't expect these people to be so powerful. They even broke Gaara's absolute defense. And Temari never underestimated these people from the beginning." Don't be affected by the speeches on the sky screen. Even if those who dare to invade the Kingdom of Wind are ignorant, they are more or less powerful. If you face them in the future, don't be careless. Just after the victory declaration was finished, dozens of quicksands shot out from the rolling smoke and dust and bound the female knight's limbs. Gaara, who was also uninjured, appeared and raised his hand to the female knight in the air and shook it heavily. Sand waterfall funeral. The sand wrapped the female knight tightly and pressed inwards violently, but the force that could easily crush the human body into pieces failed to hurt the female knight. The gushing electric current tore open the shell formed by the sand, revealing the female knight whose body had changed drastically. Looking at the female knight whose right hand and half of her torso had become abnormally thick, Gaara calmly analyzed and said, "By deforming the body, the energy is increased." "That's right." The female knight responded, and at the same time, the other half of her normal body also underwent the same change. Suddenly, the female knight with a beautiful face became like a gorilla, rushing forward with full power. What is this, a gorilla? It's a sense of déjà vu. Several of Wang Quan's men, but their bodies changed after their chakras were enhanced, just the opposite of this group of people. Do people like to use this method to enhance their strength recently? Do you think it's acceptable? We need to see if there are any side effects. If it's like Wang Quan's dark medical ninjutsu, forget it. Is becoming ugly considered a side effect? Of course it is. I won't do it if I have to become ugly in exchange for strength. Whatever it is, strength comes at a price. Normal ninjutsu training takes time and energy, while those evil ways will basically harm the user's body, either physical or mental damage, or the adaptability is extremely low and cannot be popularized at all. In short, there is no way to increase strength without any side effects. I've learned. Gaara naturally won't let such a powerful enemy get close to him. He manipulates the sand to attack the enemy from a distance, but the female knight after the transformation is wrapped in a layer of electric current barrier all over her body, and all attacks are dispersed after approaching the opponent. It's useless. This kind of sand has no effect on my electric charge barrier. Take it. The gorilla female knight came to Gaara at a speed without slowing down. She clenched her inflated arm and swung it heavily, knocking him directly to the bottom of the deep cabin. The gorilla female knight followed closely and jumped down, looking at Gaara lying on the ground unable to move, and commented, "Is this all? You are not that strong. These guys don't seem to have much combat experience." She actually approached the enemy without any defense. At this time, She only needs a substitution jutsu and a detonating talisman to make her look bad. Maybe not. That electric barrier looks pretty solid. Ordinary detonating talismans may not be able to do anything to her. Although there may be some side effects, the improvement in strength after the transformation is really obvious. Gaara's defense is okay, but isn't his attack a little weak? This is the first time I've heard someone say that Gaara's attack is weak. Suddenly, a crack appeared on Gaara's face. After it broke apart, it was found that it was just an empty shell. The gorilla female knight's face changed, and then she heard Gaara's voice from above. Is this your first time fighting a ninja? The female knight turned her head sharply and saw Gaara standing on a pipe and looking down at her. Before the other party could react, Gaara put his hands together and shouted, "Quicksand falls!" The ground shook, and the fast-flowing sand swept the powerless female knight into it like a wave, and even wrapped the entire ship. After a while, the attack ended and calm was restored. However, even so, the female knight still survived under the protection of the electric charge barrier. She emphasized again, I said your sand has no effect on my electric shock. Does anyone think Gaara's attack is weak? I'm not sure about the power, but the attack range is quite large. I remember someone said that Gaara is still just a Shin'an now. You must be lying. This level of skill can be performed with Shin'an level chakra? What's wrong with Shin'an now? Are they all monsters? By the way, this woman is something. This turtle shell is too hard. Although she is very strong, she doesn't seem to be very smart. Could it be a side effect of turning into a gorilla? He is imprudent, arrogant, and can't hide his emotions. Maybe he has never met a strong opponent before. Why does he sound the same as Naruto? Indeed, Naruto gritted his teeth and said unconvincedly, damn it. How can this guy be the same as me? You are like this now. Shikamaru ruthlessly pointed out the facts, causing everyone present to laugh out loud. Chapter 48. Watching the enemy rushing over while shouting, Gaara didn't get nervous and said calmly, what if the power goes out? After saying that, he manipulated the sand to form needles all around, and the top of the sand needle split into 3 branches like a tree branch, sand lightning needles. The female knight who had originally ignored the attack suddenly screamed, and a large amount of electricity was attracted by the surrounding sand needles and introduced into the ground out of thin air. After breaking the enemy's defense, Gaara pressed his hands on the ground and shouted, "Sand waterfall funeral." The sand on the beach formed a huge vortex that pulled the gorilla female knight into it. At the same time, high sand waves rose up from all around and smashed down fiercely into the center of the vortex. The beach that had been rising and falling was instantly filled up, and the battle between the two ended. Gaara-kun is awesome. It's getting more and more exaggerated. Is it necessary to use such a large-scale ninjutsu to deal with one person? So what is the strength of this female knight? Although she seems to be fighting back and forth with Gaara, she didn't cause any damage to him at all. It's the same in terms of attack and defense. Although it looks powerful, it was directly destroyed after Gaara cut off the power. The way the power was cut off is also so funny. A few lightning rods directly sucked out her energy. Stronger than Chunin, but probably not at the level of Jonin. It should be said that only the destructive power exceeds Chunin because she was basically just venting her power randomly, without any tactical arrangement. It feels like even a Chunin with rich combat experience can beat her to death. From the conversation between the two of them in the fortress before, their power should be obtained from the Grey Stone. Perhaps, as previously speculated, Hyde and his gang rely on the power of external objects. Because it is not their own power, it is so easy for them to be led out by the opponent. The defeated opponent did not arouse Gaara's interest at all. He focused on watching the bullet comet sliding across the sky. When he saw those praising him, he always felt a subtle emotion in his heart, a little irritated but a little happy. They just didn't see my true power. If they knew, they would avoid me like everyone else. Thinking of this, Gaara, who was originally a little emotional, instantly regained his composure and returned to his expression of not caring about anything. Another female knight hurried out to check after hearing the movement outside, and just witnessed the process of the gorilla female knight being solved by Gaara. At this moment, a hole suddenly appeared on the hull below, and Naruto and Timothy fell out of it, and then continued to fight. You are here. Kenjiro's voice came from behind the female knight. She quickly turned her head and looked, and then nimbly dodged several kunes. I won't let you escape. Kenjiro took out several more kune. After calming down the female knight who was bitten, she chuckled and said, "I said that being too clingy will make people hate you." Kenjiro sneered and shot the kunai in his hand. The female knight jumped up to avoid the attack and suddenly transformed into a bat and flew up. It seems that this kind of transformation is a common move of this group of people. What about Timothy? Timothy can also transform. This kind of transformation doesn't feel like an ability, but rather a product of human experiments. Now that you mention it, it does look a bit like it. Can I have the corresponding ability after the transformation? I wonder if I can transform into a ninja beast. Orochimaru licked his lips with his tongue, and looked at the female knight whose body shape had changed drastically in the sky with his eyes shining slightly. A simple experimental product? And the so-called grayer, if we can get the corresponding technology, the transformation of the white phosphorus snake may be further improved. Originally, he only sent a few troops to join in the fun, but now Orochimaru is a little concerned about Hyde and his group. Let the 4 people go, at least bring me a sample, and if there is a chance, bring the boy named Timothy as well. A white snake emerged from Orochimaru's sleeves and left the nest with his orders. Kenjiro was stunned as he watched the man in front of him turn into a living being. At this time, the flying Batwoman knight blew a huge puff of smoke at him, completely obscuring his vision. Kenjiro, who had lost track of the enemy, shouted angrily, "Damn it! Stop right there, you bastard!" On Naruto and Timothy's side, the two who were originally fighting fiercely were also covered by the sudden smoke. Timothy took the opportunity to, after grabbing the feet of the flying Batgirl knight and leaving the battle, Naruto noticed that the other party wanted to escape and chased after her. He hugged a person's body based on the direction he felt. "Where are you running? I will never let you escape. Idiot, let go. Don't even think about it, huh?" The voice was a little wrong. Naruto looked up. The smoke had just dispersed at this time. Naruto realized that he was hugging Kankuro. It's no longer possible. Kankuro grabbed a piece of debris that was still connected to the hull with difficulty. Naruto realized that the two were hanging high outside the ship. Why are we in a place like this? You must be kidding. The broken fragments could not support the weight of the 2 people, and the 2 screamed and fell into the sea. Ho ha, I always laugh at Naruto's new tricks. Not only does he betray his teammates, but now he doesn't even let go of ninjas from other villages. After Neji and Shikamaru, Kankuro of Tsunagakure was also tortured by Naruto. He is really guilty. From this point of view, Sakura is really strong. She teamed up with Naruto right after graduation, and she is still full of energy a few years later. It's quite amazing. One thing overcomes another, because when Sakura is in a bad mood, she will directly attack Naruto. Maybe she uses this method to vent the pressure Naruto brings to her. In other words, in order to avoid in this case, just beat Naruto hard. Naruto looked at the eager little strong men present, and immediately said in a panic, Hey, don't listen to those people's nonsense, I will fight back." As a demonstration, Sakura grabbed Naruto's face and said angrily, "If you don't want to be beaten, be more reliable. Now you have embarrassed other countries." Temari looked at Kankuro, who was dragged into the sea by Naruto on the sky, and persuaded, "If you can, stay away from this Uzumaki Naruto in the future." Yet, Kankuro nodded, his expression was extremely firm. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. The scene changes, and what appears on the sky is the caravan that has been attacked and has become fragmented. Hien is grabbed by the collar by a female knight who has not appeared before and asked, "Where is the grayer stone?" Hien said with an uncomfortable look that he didn't know, but the female knight who grabbed him didn't believe it at all. But before she could take the next step, the female knight suddenly found that she couldn't move freely, and uncontrollably let go of the hand holding Hien. What? The female knight turned around with difficulty and looked at a figure in the sky. The long shadow extended from the opponent's feet and connected to her own shadow. The shadow imitation technique was successful. Shikamaru put down the hand that was making the seal and relaxed a little. Sakura hurried over to help Hien leave. Shikamaru controlled the enemy while asking questions, but he didn't expect that before he could say a few words, the female knight in front of him suddenly turned into a werewolf. What? Shikamaru's face changed. The female knight who transformed not only broke free from his control, but also shattered the huge rock under his feet with a wolf howl from her mouth. Shikamaru, who was caught off guard, fell to the ground in a slightly embarrassed manner. Fortunately, the female werewolf knight did not pursue her and turned around and fled. Sure enough, they came to cause trouble for the caravan. Hyde obviously knows a lot of information. This kind of thing is obvious. Hyde is just short of putting the label of villain on his face. In fact, from the fact that they appeared on the sky, we can already guess that they are inseparable from the whole incident. It's just that people involved need a series of clues to restore the original appearance of the matter. Don't think you are smarter than the people on the sky. Shikamaru has a good brain, but his hard power seems to be a little lacking. He was so easily defeated by the enemy. The person broke free from the restraints. Huh? Some people actually think that the Nara family's restraint technique is simple. Think about what you can do when you can't move your whole body. What's more, the Nara family's shadow not only has the ability to restrain, but can also directly break the enemy's neck. The ninjas who can make a name for themselves in the ninja world can't be simple stuff. It's better to have some self-knowledge. What is that? A wolf? Sakura looked at the back of the female knight in doubt until Hyan's cough brought her back to her senses. Hyan was helped by Sakura to sit on a stone. Shikamaru, who was not seriously injured, also rushed over. He first asked about Rare, but seeing that Hyan looked alert and didn't seem to have anything to say, he asked Sakura to leave and find Naruto, but Sakura looked at Hyan hesitantly, but still obeyed the order and followed Shikamaru's footsteps. From the attitude of this old man Hyan towards Shikamaru, he should know a lot of secrets. The identity of the caravan is just their disguise. That's not necessarily the case. Didn't we mention the destruction of the country before? The identity of the caravan is likely to be true, but their identities before the destruction of the country should not be simple. Didn't they say that the snow ferret named Niluga was raised in the palace before? It's not surprising that it has a relationship with their royal family and knows some secrets. It seems that Shikamaru here hopes that Hyan won't say anything, so that he can pretend to know nothing and leave directly. That's not the case. Although the people of the Nara family are afraid of trouble, they still have a sense of responsibility. Even if Hyan said nothing, he would continue to investigate after finding Naruto, but he might not go too deep. The essence of slacking off. If you are not in a hurry, just complete the task to the minimum, and no one can find fault with it. Hyan was silent with a tangled face, and after thinking for a while, he asked, "Wait a minute, are you Naruto's companions?" "Grandpa, do you know Naruto?" Sakura and Shikamaru stopped, and after confirming their identities, Hyan no longer tried to hide it. Please help us. If this goes on, something terrible will happen." "Terrible thing?" Sakura murmured, and Shikamaru showed a tired expression as if he was involved in trouble. "Scary things? How scary? Can it compare to the destruction of the world by the monsters?" "Okay, let's stop here and whip the corpse monsters." Now the three kingdoms of wind, fire and earth are planning whether to directly unlock the seal and cooperate with the priestess to destroy the monsters. There is no way. The power of the priestess is too restrained by the monsters. After knowing how to deal with them in advance, even if the monsters have the ability to destroy the world, they will not feel scary anymore. Then should Naruto go to the land of demons and rub it with a Saichian, one Rasengan can destroy the monsters. That's unnecessary. Just anyone can do it. There are other moves that are more powerful than the Rasengan. No. I want to see if Naruto and Saichian can create some sparks. Okay, we've changed the subject. To be honest, Shikamaru is bothered by trouble and curious about the truth, so isn't it all his own fault when he runs into trouble? There's nothing we can do about it. It's troublesome, but when such an unknown force appears in the territory, normal ninjas have the obligation to investigate the situation. Why did Ian's attitude change when Naruto was mentioned? Didn't he just follow the caravan for a while? Maybe he thinks that if it's Naruto's companion, he should be as easy to fool as him. Could he have been infected with Naruto's companion virus and unconsciously treated him as his own? Shikamaru exhaled deeply and looked at the sky with disgust. If I can, I really want to pretend that I didn't see it. What are you talking about, Shikamaru? Everyone is looking forward to your performance, cheer up. I know, patted Shikamaru's back dissatisfiedly. Although she didn't see her own appearance, she would also be proud of her teammates' good performance. Which eye of yours saw that everyone expected me? What they want to see is Naruto, okay. Shikamaru responded speechlessly, and by the way, he sent another barrage that belittled himself and praised Naruto. Naruto was not uncomfortable with the expectations and praises of others, and said with full energy, "Oh. Everyone has good vision, wait and see, I will definitely beat Hyde and Timothy to pulp." Holding her forehead helplessly, Ino really couldn't accept Naruto's character. Such a fool actually became the representative of Konoha. Chapter 50. Timothy stood on the top of a big tree and looked at the fortress in the distance. He recalled Naruto's previous questioning about his companions and said to himself, "What can you understand?" Timothy fell into memories. The young boy and another crying child looked at the village that had been burnt to ashes and turned into ruins, with resentment on their faces. At this time, Hyde came from behind and patted their shoulders, and told him the dream of utopia for the first time. Hyde took out a green stone with patterns from his sleeve and showed it to Timothy. "It's beautiful, isn't it? As long as I get a lot of these grayer stones, I can eliminate all the struggles in this world, these ugly and sad struggles. This thing is the grayer stone. Isn't this just another way of saying conquering the world? This guy is really not a good person. It depends on what grayer does. If it can only provide power for fighting, then it can be determined that Hyde is just an ambitious person. How to eliminate struggles and satisfy the wishes of both sides of the struggle? Or is it eliminate both sides of the struggle? Does this Hyde only know these few lines? Utopia, elimination of struggle, although it sounds great, but if you think about it carefully, it's all empty talk. If Hyde is not a good person, do you think it's possible that Timothy's village was destroyed by him? For what? Oh. Timothy's royal blood. Maybe it's to get something. Maybe the gray stone in Hyde's hand was obtained after destroying the village. The memory scene continues. Timothy and his friends stand in front of the machine with many transparent cabins. The area of Timothy's heart emits the same light as the gray stone. This change makes his friends very proud and happy. They say that although they can't adapt to the power of the gray stone, they can also enter the machine in front of them to contribute to their dreams. Everything is for the purpose of creating an utopia without fighting. Those children are all volunteers. They are powerless and can only provide vitality. It feels like they are taking advantage of the children's innocence. With Hyde's level of rhetoric, he can only fool some young children who are not very experienced in the world. No, although these children are all volunteers, but did Timothy have any doubts about Hyde who agreed to this kind of thing? These dazzling barrages made Timothy's mind slightly shaken, but he still suppressed his uneasiness and continued to look at the sky. Hyde keenly noticed his emotional changes and immediately couldn't help but prepare to take action. A message sent over the radio interrupted Timothy's memories. Timothy answered the signal, and then heard a curse from the other end. "You idiot, the caravan you have been in has information about the gray stone." What? In the fortress, Hyde also learned about the development of the matter. After his subordinates reported that they had sent Timothy to investigate, he looked calm, not worried that the duck in his mouth would fly away, and said with a chuckle, "That child will not disappoint my expectations." The Bat Knight obviously knew the inside story. She said meaningfully, "Because Timothy has that kind of power, right? Isn't Timothy's power gray? Why are these two people talking about it in such a mysterious way? Why is Hyde not in a hurry at all? Where does he get the confidence that Timothy will succeed? Isn't he afraid of being ruined by others? Maybe he feels no one in the ninja world knows about grayer, so he always looks fearless. I'm sure Hyde must be very confident in his own strength, so he was eager to attack the Wind Country as soon as he arrived in the ninja world, but he didn't expect to kick the iron plate, and the two people from Sand Village directly wiped out the entire fleet. Now what should we say? The whole ninja world knows about grayer. Does Hyde dare to come here? That guy might be so scared that he will return home. Looking at the speeches on the sky that were mocking him, Hyde finally sneered without concealing his face. "Don't worry, I will let you see my strength soon, and thank you for reminding me that I will not land directly this time." Timothy was frightened by Hyde's gloomy and terrifying expression. "Master Hyde, what are you talking about?" Exclamation mark. "Sorry, Timothy, the next plan has to be changed a little bit." Hyde looked at Timothy, smiled sinisterly and said, "Fuji, Camilla, do it." The development was completely unexpected. No. Perhaps Timothy had already imagined this possibility, but he had been forcing himself not to believe the speculation in the barrage, so he was controlled by the two female knights under Hyde without any resistance. Before he could react and use grayer's power to break free, A watch-band-like mechanical device was directly buckled on his neck, and Timothy could not feel the power in his body in an instant. Looking at Timothy, who was struggling powerlessly, Hyde showed an expression that everything was under control. Don't be surprised, I have been studying Grayer's power for more than 10 years, and it is not a problem to develop a simple suppression device. Timothy was grabbed by the two female knights, lowered his body, and looked at Hyde with trembling eyes. What those people on the sky are saying is true. You are just deceiving us. That's right, the utopia is just a lie. The reason I brought you here is just because I need the royal blood in your body. Hyde admitted without any guilt. As for my real purpose, there is still time, let the sky reveal it. Timothy looked at the deck, including himself, and saw that there were only 4 people left. The soldiers who were originally on guard had returned to the cabin at some point. He knew that Hyde was ready and there was no possibility for him to escape from him. Suddenly faced with a huge change and his own power was sealed, the young Timothy was close to the edge of collapse. Now the only hope left in his heart was the person who had dealt with him in the future but had not met yet. Naruto, end of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.